That is what you're required to do. Fortunately for me, in this fight, I have great allies. First of all, within my government. The people who are in the front line of that, all of them are here. The Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. The Minister for Water Resources and Sanitation. Eminent Ghanaians, responsible Ghanaians, who have gone out of their way to lead this crusade. But from the beginning, they said something which is the reason why you're here today. We cannot win this fight without the support of the traditional authorities of our country. Any serious social mobilization of Ghana, since time immemorial, if you're not involved, it doesn't happen. If you, the chiefs of our country, are not involved, it doesn't happen. Every time people open their mouth, it happened today in the closed session with the chiefs. They mentioned MMDCs as some of the key conveyors, conduit points of the Galamsey phenomenon. You are my representatives in each of your metropolises, municipalities, and districts. You are the representatives of the president. It cannot be that the president at the national level is waging a war against Galamsey, and you at the local level, my representatives, are compromising that fight. That cannot work. I'm not here to threaten anybody, but I want you to know that this is a struggle that I take very seriously. And I will not be in a position to protect anybody against whom evidence is marshaled to show their complicity. I won't do it.
It is not true. I mean, look at me. I have been around for a very long time. I came back to Ghana from Germany at the age of 39 to set up the National Cadet Training Center. The building there was constructed without a city contribution from the government. Now I've trained people. I reformed the Ghana Record Society, founded the Ghana Art Foundation to help. Everything that I've done in this world is for Ghanaians. I've not done anything for myself. Look at me. I've not taken bribe before. I've not extorted money from anybody before. I've not done anything wrong before. And it saddens my heart that people can associate me with illegality. Every excavator that has been stolen will be found.
Why were they stolen? You were sleeping on the job, perhaps?
I was not sleeping on the job.
You have soldiers to guard excavators, yet they went missing. How did that happen?
Pardon me?
You have soldiers as part of the Operation Vanguard protecting these equipment. How did they disappear overnight?
No, they did not disappear overnight. I mean, you will get a facts pretty soon. I don't want to overstep what the security people are doing, the investigators. So let us be patient. You'll get the facts pretty soon.
Prof, is your son involved in...
He is not.
What is he involved in with respect to mining?
He is not involved in anything, and the world will get to know very soon.
There are calls for you to resign. Will you resign?
For what purpose?
They say you are failed and you are neck deep in it, allegedly. Will you resign?
No, I've told you. I mean, you're asking me about what we've done so far, and I've given you a run out. Do you think that with this assessment I should resign? I don't want to go into details now because I have a lot to say on that. But let me tell you that I did not take one excavator for anything, and they know the truth. Now things are coming up. You know, those who are behind it, and the party people who are there, people in government, including Jubilee House, who are doing Galamsey and so on, even now. So let Frimpong Boateng stay in his corner and enjoy his retirement.
So you see, the Galamsey thing that is bedeviling this country. Prof himself, he's not clean. He's not. He knows that I know a lot, you understand? And for me, an elder, he's a statesman. Or maybe from now, he wants to tell us that he's not. Because when we're building a country, we believe that people like him should come out with the truth. You understand? And I keep asking myself that what sort of country are they bequeathing to us? Is it a country that we all learn how not to be truthful? Because at this age, I believe that there's a future for all of us. And so we do things that Ghana will progress. And then you're made the chairman of a committee. You only come out to speak when you've been actually directed to go to the CID to be investigated. That's where my problem is. The facts are okay. It is not all of them. I said I'm not privy to certain things, but I'm privy to the Kwaku Baakwo. And even when the announced expose came out, Kwaku Baakwo had the audacity to warn the president to be careful. These are things that we have to look at. Because for me, in the spirit of defending this country, I'll always speak the truth. And there are so many things that one day might come out, but not to damage this country, but individuals who seem to think, portray that they are protecting this country and are really not. You understand? So Prof, I'm disappointed in him because he knew the whole truth about everything, but he kept quiet. He said that he has informed the president. So at every instance, when these things were happening, couldn't he have gone to the president to report everything, I mean, as and when it happens? Until after he was handing over, then he put that report together. Was it not because he was not given the ministerial role at that time? So check the dates. I hope I'm making sense to you. So when he was a minister and was a chairman to the committee, he wasn't saying these things. And when he was asked to hand over, and when he was told that he wasn't going to be a minister any longer, then he comes out with.
As I'm making time, Master Mabekano, before I read my speech, I can't send baby and Lucia. And Regional Minister name, Meba, Jina Pomba, and almost say, and a Pachoya can't be a worker, and as a Messima person, Mekana. And this are no Musibia, Mekas and Fufrobia, Air Day Kakra. As I said, the Queen Mikachi almost said, Galamsey, I can, and them have Michimu, Yachimu, semi a year, you have nature me and son. A mobile 30% in Boma Galamsey. Yanni to them, hey. See, I GM watching ya, the Chimu, mobile 30% and not any Boma Galamsey. Yeah, kind of crane you better die, why be a conference here. Say, Michia, Oma Bay, Galamsade. But was in an unknown chance as in a mile. What can we anymore? No more kind of never out to be our class as your dear Galamsade. You was off who brown who was a wire upon it.
Well, that what Otumfuo said to the second, His Majesty said, caps it all. Just for the benefit of those who don't understand the local language, he says, look, we would continue to deceive ourselves with conferences and colloquiums and symposiums and all we do in this country if we don't speak the truth about Galamsey. And where he was speaking is very instructive. This was a conference that was organized by, I think, under the auspices of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and its agencies on Galamsey. It was a regional Galamsey fight conference. It says all the people gathered in that room for that purpose, about 30% of them. And remember, these were people who were gathered there to come and think about how to fight Galamsey, illegal mining. It says 30% of them knew the people engaged in Galamsey. So let's stop the lies, the hypocrisy, the pretense, and all the lip service that we pay to this fight against illegal mining. You've heard a number of people who have spoken, but this week, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, the former Minister of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovations, handing over report about a 35-page report with some explosive detail that is generated or brought back this conversation about illegal mining again. The number of people who were captured in that report who have been speaking and reacting to it, indicating that the details of the report about them is not true. This morning on Key Point, we have a number of them. You would hear from some of them. But the question that we're asking is beyond the defense and explanation of these people. How can the Ghanaian people be giving the truth or the facts beyond what the people captured in this report will say? Because it is their word against Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng's report. So which institution do you trust to help establish the fact, separate the wheat from the chaff, and establish the fact in this? That's our conversation this morning. We would also talk about state-owned enterprises that are continuously running losses, but you and I will have to finance them, unfortunately. And also, the labor front, at least majority of the labor unions have kicked against the finance ministry's proposal to them to help reduce the debt burden. We'll tell you why. We have a number of them who would also join us this morning. Welcome. This is Key Point on TV3. We're live on 3FM 92.7. We're also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Okansi. On behalf of the rest of the team, welcome to Key Point. My guest to start the four-part conversation that we have on this critical issue, because it borders on the soul of this country, natural resources, is one person who has been captured in this report as well. The Honorable Joseph Albert Kwam is the former Member of Parliament for the Manson Kwanta constituency in the Ashanti region. He is captured in this 35-page report by Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng. He is with me in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's go into the details of this report, which borders on you. Okay, we're going to show it. I think it's on page 13, 14. Let's take a look at it. Let's put it on the screen. Okay, and specific detail in there that talks about you using your position to acquire multiple dozens of large-scale concessions in Manson Kwanta, where you were the Member of Parliament, and then also another position that you said. Let's put it on the screen. That's you, correct?
Yes.
Yes. It says, it is on the record that the activities of some senior members of the New Patriotic Party accounted for the anger at community levels. Honorable Joseph Albert Kwam, the former Member of Parliament for Manson Kwanta, exemplifies such individuals. That's what the report says. It goes on to say, next page, this is a Member of Parliament for the Manson Kwanta constituency in the Ashanti region, and at the same time, a member of the Minerals Commission board. You used your position as a member of the Minerals Commission to acquire several dozens of large-scale concessions in your district ostensibly for community mining purposes. You ended up selling these concessions to private individuals, including party members, for 200,000 cedis per concession. This infuriated the party in the constituency. So during the 2020 primaries to select a candidate, the electorate voted against you, the sitting MP at the time, who was more resourced. You had more money than other candidates. Although there were allegations that you camped delegates and attempted to bribe them, you lost to a lesser known individual who did not have as much financial muscle as you did, Mr. Kwam. In fact, that's where it borders on this area. Let's establish this. You were the member of parliament,
Yes.
when this report was put together, correct?
You mean I was a member of parliament when this report was put together? This report was put together, I think, on the 19th of March, 2021, when I was not there.
Okay. But the facts in there, first off, that he says, per this report, you acquired multiple concessions of large scale, that's mining areas. That's what you see there.
My brother,
Is this the case?
my brother, that is not true. That is not true. It is a blatant lie.
You don't own a concession.
I don't have even a single concession. Apart from that, you look at the report. He says several dozens of large-scale concessions. Do you understand the word dozen?
It's 12.
12. So several means multiples of 12. So it means it can be 24, 144, or whatever. And here he's talking about large scales. Large scale concessions are concessions that have been operated by, let's say, Anglo Gold, Newmont, and others. That's what large scale concession means. But here is the case. I don't have even a single concession. Throughout my life, up to my age, I even don't own a concession. So why this report? Apart from that, you cannot make allegation without a proof or supporting evidence. If he claims that I have multiples of dozens of concessions, then he must come with documents from Minerals Commission to indicate that I have A, B, C, D concessions bearing my name. Apart from this, any investigative team can go to Minerals Commission, search for concessions around my constituency, and then go to Registrar General to find out those who are directors or owners of concessions within my district.
Does mining take place in Manson Kwanta?
My brother, mining Manson Kwanta constituency is a mining area.
Does illegal mining take place in Manson Kwanta?
If you say illegal mining, for now, I will say yes or no.
What do you mean? It's a
Yes or no to the
It's a
extent.
yes and no.
Listen, yes or no to the extent that if you come to, I'm part of Amansia West in Siana area, Asarikrum, Abrense, Kediago, Ekropon, Achariye, part of Achariye,
Actually,
right? As well as Antokrum, Bensaso area. That place has been designated by Minerals Commission as a small scale area.
that's small, legal. legal small-scale mining.
So if anybody wants to go and do legal mining, there's a large tract of land that has been created by Minerals Commission, which everybody can go and apply.
And get the small-scale mining license.
And get small-scale mining license.
Go and mine.
Exactly.
Okay. Apart from that, is there illegal mining going on in Manson Quanta?
Any mining that goes on outside the scope, are you getting me? Where it has not been created as a small-scale designated area without documents, may term as illegal.
I want to establish this because one of the accusations against you by your own constituents was that you were engaged in some form of illegal mining, reason why they voted against you. That's why you lost the primaries ahead of the 2020 elections.
My brother, that is not the case. Let me use this opportunity to explain vividly to Ghanaians. You will recall that I was a lead advocate against illegal mining, even now.
And so you were a lead advocate?
Yes, against illegal mining.
What were you doing?
Because I was not supporting illegal mining. My aim was to make sure that illegalities, those doing illegal mining, will get proper land, apply to Minerals Commission to get small-scale legal mining concession to mine. Okay. Now, here is the case.
So there was illegal mining going on in Manson Quanta, and you as an MP and a member of the Minerals Commission board decided that you're going to use your position to get them to legalize the illegality, correct?
Exactly.
So did you help anybody to get a concession in your constituency while you were a member of the Minerals Board Commission?
No, not at all. What I did...
You didn't help anybody in your constituency to get a mining license?
No.
From the Minerals Commission?
No. Let me explain here.
No.
What I did...
Did you or did you not?
No. I did not. What I did was as a board member, because our place is a Galamsey Prune Zone, it was laid before Minerals Commission that we must get an area, specific areas, where they can do proper legal small scale. That is where community mining started. Community mining started. Mm-hmm. So when Professor Frimpong Boateng was then chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, mm-hmm. the Operation Vanguard and that of Galamstock were terrorizing our people.
Operation Vanguard and Galamstock were terrorizing your people?
Yes.
What do you mean by terrorizing?
Terrorizing. The fact is this. The place is a mining zone. Mm-hmm. But here is the case. There's no legal small-scale designated area, right? So the people have been doing their menial artisanal mining. You can call it...
Was it licensed?
No.
Did they have the license?
No, so, not at all.
So it was illegal?
Yes, yes. But there was a ban. There was a ban mm-hmm. on illegal mining.
Yes.
And the ban extended almost 2 years. So correct. It was causing serious problem on all mining communities in Ghana, and not my place alone.
Okay.
So my as a member of parliament, mm-hmm. my aim was to make sure that we get more small-scale designated areas for many people to apply, because it's because of non-availability of lands That's why a lot of people are doing illegal mining. Are you getting it? That's one of the causes of illegal mining. Okay. So, when Honorable Asomachremi became Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, right, under his auspices, he made sure that Minerals Commission should create more small-scale designated areas where people can apply and get legal small-scale mining to mine.
Okay, so was this allocation prior to the period where these lands, because you mentioned some areas initially, when we started this conversation, you mentioned some areas that were or have been designated for small-scale mining.
Yes.
Was this done by Asomachremi, or it was done before Asomachremi became minister?
It was done after Asomachremi became a minister.
All these areas,
yes,
that you mentioned,
yes,
that now have been designated for small-scale mining,
yes,
was done by
Asomachremi.
Before Asomachremi, your people were engaged, or some of your people were engaged in illegal mining.
Illegal mining.
And the mandate of the committee that Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng was chairing was to help clamp down on illegal mining, correct? Correct?
Yes.
So if you say that they were terrorizing your people who were engaged in illegal mining, why would you say that as against looking at it as they doing their job of clamping down on illegal mining in your community?
Because they are Ghanaians. Though they have faulted, are you getting me? But it is
they were engaged in illegal.
Yeah, yes, yes.
So why would you say you're terrorizing?
Yes, yes. But the situation now is that it is the responsibility of Minerals Commission to create more small-scale designated areas for people to have access to lands to do legal mining.
But that does not mean that the commission or the committee doing its work is terrorizing your people who are engaged in illegality.
No, because about 60 to 70% of the menial job in the constituency is predominantly mining, of which I was even advocating that we change the status quo from illegal to legal. That's my position.
I get the point. What I want to establish is your description of the work of Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng's committee and the Operation Vanguard as terrorizing your people who were engaged in an illegality, because you have accepted that your people were engaged in illegal mining, some of them. And the work of the Operation Vanguard was to clamp down on that. So why do you say they are terrorizing your people?
My brother, because at some point they were extorting. It's because of the extortion from Operation Vanguard and Galamstop.
Who was engaged in that extortion?
Operation Vanguard and Galamstop.
Operation Vanguard
and Galamstop.
You mean the military personnel?
I'm talking about Operation Vanguard and Galamstop under Professor Frimpong Boateng. And it was an open secret. That is why at some point President dissolved it.
So you are saying that Operation Vanguard and Galamstop personnel were extorting money from people who engage in illegal mining in your constituency?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And you can prove it?
My brother, it was an open secret.
No. Can you prove that they were extorting money
when
from
you go
illegal miners?
Even when you Google, right? Even when you Google now, right? It was an open secret.
Because you are saying it emphatically on this program, I'm asking you if you can prove that Operation Vanguard people who were delegated to your constituency to clamp down on the illegal mining going on there were extorting money from the Galamsey operators in your constituency.
My brother, at some point, right, even those people doing legal small scale in my constituency were those legal small scale in my constituency were attacked by Operation Vanguard.
So what did they do? If they were engaged in legal small-scale mining with the license, did they report it that they have been attacked by Operation Vanguard people?
They did.
And what happened?
They reported to Asmach Remy.
And what happened?
Because it was Asmach Remy who came to commission community mining in my constituency.
And so what happened after they reported to him?
Asmach Remy reported the issue to Frimpong Boateng to stop, because if you are to attack anybody, it should be those illegal miners, right? And not those doing illegal mining.
You're a member, or you were a member of the Minerals Commission then?
Yes.
It should concern you that, and you were a member of parliament of a constituency that you had people engaged in illegal mining. Shouldn't it have been of concern to you that they were destroying the environment, contaminating water bodies in your constituency, and so also help the committee to clamp down on illegal mining?
My brother.
Instead of describing their work as terrorizing the illegal miners.
My brother, let me tell you something. There was a ban on illegal mining, right? And the duty of Minerals Commission is to make sure we come out to see the causes of illegal mining. Are you getting it? It's because of non-availability of lands.
You've established that point.
Yes.
What I'm saying to you is, what did you do as a member of the Minerals Commission Board, yes, and a member of Parliament for this area that you have confirmed that some of your people were engaged in illegal mining? The Operation Vanguard were doing their job, clamping down on them. You describe it as terrorizing your people. So what did you do in your capacity as a board member of the Minerals Commission to help clamp down on illegal mining in your constituency?
Good. What I did was to make sure it was laid before the commission and the minister to have an area within the constituency, right, to make sure there's a small-scale designated area where the people can apply to do legal mining. And that was done. Are you getting it? Mm-hmm. Because there was no area that they can apply. Even as at now, as we speak, there are 2 bigger concessions in the constituency. One is at Nsiana concession, which is 26.88 kilometers square. And that of Antuokrum concession, which is about 16.80 kilometers square. My brother, look, as at about a month ago, that I checked from the net, for those that have applied for legal small scale, it looks as if almost every part of the, about 60 to 70% of the concessions, I'm talking about the legal area, are still there, which people haven't applied. It's like people are not interested in going through the process at Minerals Commission to apply for a concession.
Okay.
And I will encourage many people, right, to go through the normal process, through Minerals Commission, to apply for a legal small scale.
Mr. Kwam, is illegal mining still going on in Manson Quanta?
For now, outside the blockout area.
No, I'm asking,
listen,
is illegal mining going on in Manson Quanta?
Listen, for now, outside the blockout area, any mining that goes on, apart from the large-scale concessions, Asanko and others, that one is illegal.
So illegal mining is going on in Manson Quanta today as we speak?
As at now, I'm not the one overseeing the activities of illegality.
You are a former member of parliament?
Yes.
You are still in the area, correct?
Yes.
I'm asking you, is illegal mining still going on in Manson Quanta?
Of course.
That's all I'm saying.
Of course.
I don't.
Of course.
No, you are going back and forth on this matter. Do you know that in your constituency, we spoke to a cocoa farmer who said that he would rather have illegal miners take over his farmland instead of mining as we're keeping cocoa or farming cocoa? That is the threat that illegal mining is posing to your constituency, destroying farmland and then also the water bodies that we're seeing. And instead of seeing that as a problem for the Operation Vanguard to also clamp down on, you saw their work as terrorizing your people.
No, that is not the case. What I said, because I was the one who started advocacy against illegal mining. I was the one who started it from 2010.
So if you are called before a commission,
yes,
can you prove that indeed the Operation Vanguard and the Galam Stop people were extorting money from the illegal miners in your constituency?
No, the point is that they were attacking the people before the...
No, I don't understand if you say they were attacking. Were they trying to arrest them for being engaged in illegal mining? Or what do you mean by attack?
Attack. My brother, if you are a member of parliament and where the mainstay, the job of the people, right, that you are pretending, it's more or less about 60 to 70%, right?
Right.
Your duty is to make sure that you convert them from the illegality to legal. Are you getting it?
Good.
So right now, if at the end of the day, because to them, to many school of thought, even in Ghana here, because I started the fight against illegal mining, right? Everybody feels that I'm the one who has destroyed their business. All the illegal miners in this country feel that I'm the one who has destroyed their business.
You destroyed their business.
That's their perception. Because I started. If you go to Parliament, to Parliament, on 4th of March, 2017, when I became a member of Parliament, on the floor of Parliament, I gave a statement that we need to look into illegal mining and see how we can address that issue. To help the people within the mining communities.
Okay, good. I come back to the original question. You were saying that the Operation Vanguard people, because you're saying you started the fight against illegal mining.
Yes.
Or the campaign.
Exactly.
The Operation Vanguard was set up to clamp down on illegal mining. And so you were supposed to support them.
Exactly.
And you are saying that their work there in your constituency was attacking illegal miners. And what I wanted to find out from you is, why do you describe the work of the Operation Vanguard in clamping down on illegal miners in your constituency as an attack, and not they doing their work to clamp down on illegal mining in your constituency, which you say you are against?
My brother, if you are a member of parliament, right, and every day you receive more than 10, 12, 13 calls, right, about Operation Vanguard going here, Galam Stop going here. Meanwhile, the sad thing is that the perception of the people is that I, as the member of parliament, is the one who is behind Operation Vanguard going around arresting people.
No, but they were doing their job. They were arresting illegal miners.
But that is the perception, because let me tell you something now. Let me tell you something.
So is that because of that perception that you're saying they are attacking the people?
No, the point is that even those people who had legal license working, right, were attacked.
And I'm saying to you that after they were attacked, you said they reported to the minister.
Yes.
Asuma Chireme.
Yes.
But those who were engaged in the illegality, who were coming to you, what did you do?
As for me, what I did was that I'm a member of parliament. The only thing I can do is to make sure I contact Professor Frimpong Boateng.
So you contacted him?
I contacted Professor Frimpong Boateng.
For what?
That he should speak to his brother. Are you getting it?
Who's the brother you're talking about?
Asmachremi. Because they are all under interministerial committee to speed up the process of creating more small-scale designated areas so that our people can apply and do mining legally.
So did you tell them to stop engaging in illegal mining?
My brother, as for me, even 2010, I was the lead advocate.
No, the
fighting.
people who came to complain to you about the work of
That is
Operation
it.
Vanguard.
Yes.
Did you tell them to
That
stop?
is it. I told everyone that they should stop illegal mining.
Okay.
Because that was why I was advocating against illegal mining. I was a lead advocate against illegal mining.
So you don't own any large or small scale concessions?
Not at all. Not even one.
So nobody is having a concession in their name on your behalf?
No, not at all.
You haven't used your influence at the Minerals Commission to get a concession in someone's name, which actually belongs to you?
Not at all. Because even the community mining was established and commissioned by Honorable Asmachremi and Minerals Commission.
Is anybody who is related to you having any minerals concession in your constituency?
Look, let me tell you something.
No,
let me tell you something. We call it community mining.
Okay.
Community mining.
Okay.
So once it's in the town, definitely many people are my relatives.
Okay.
Those people who are my relatives, who so feel that they are above 18 years, okay, right, and can apply to do legal mining, can do so.
Did you facilitate the process of getting some of them the concession while you were on the Minerals Commission board?
Not at all. My aim was to make sure that the constituency have a small-scale designated area which people can apply legally.
So you did not help any of them to legalize their illegality?
Not at all. Legalize their illegality?
Okay.
Not at all. What I did was to make sure there's a large tract of land which has been created as small-scale designated area. One is 16.8 kilometers square. Another one is 26.88 kilometers square. I have to look. It has been gazetted, right? It has been gazetted. Look at this one. This is one.
So the fight against illegal mining in your constituency failed?
You mean failed? Yes.
It failed?
Yes. Failed to the extent that I was not the one who was in charge of it. It was under interministerial committee for illegal mining.
You were the member of parliament.
Member of parliament.
You also have some responsibility.
Yes, but the situation is that there's a committee who is in charge of it. So it is the responsibility of the committee. Are you getting it?
How did you help the committee to do their work?
How did I help the committee? I wasn't part of the committee.
No, but you were a member of parliament.
Member of parliament. But at some point, even when I brought an idea that all MPs, are you getting it? Under all MPs who fall under the mining communities, are you getting it? Right? Mm-hmm. To come together for us to meet Professor Frimpong Boateng to see how we can help. He didn't agree.
He didn't agree to meet you?
Yes.
Did he give you a reason why?
My brother, even after that, there's a letter here. The complaints that I made, right? He wrote back to me that I cannot tell him what he should do. There's a letter here, 19 February 2019.
What did he say specifically?
My brother, I was saying that it is the mainstay of job. I'm talking about small scale mining. So we have to find ways, right, of getting land for these people to do legal mining. Even before Asmachremi came, Are you getting it? Okay. But he didn't understand. He didn't agree to me.
Okay. So you have established that the fight failed.
Yes.
Because of actions and inactions on your part, and you say that the Operation Vanguard as well. Now your name has been captured in this said report. Between 2021, March 19, and now, have you been invited by the presidency to answer questions about this report?
This is the very first time that I've seen this report. I don't have any knowledge about it.
Nobody has called you from the presidency?
Nobody.
To ask you questions about this?
Nobody. And even this report, what he has captured there, right? What he has captured here, I do not have large-scale concession in my constituency. I don't even have a small-scale, even small-scale mining concession. So how can you establish that once I don't have a concession, right, I sell concession to someone? If I have a concession, then I can sell a concession to you.
So beyond this, you say you're going to advise yourself. What are you going to do?
What I'm going to do is I will let my lawyers write to him to retract and apologize. Other than that, we will go to court.
You go to court?
Yes.
Okay. We'll see what the presidency would also do, because now it has been established that at least for you, between 2021 and now, nobody at the presidency has called you about this. So the question was whether or not any action had been taken after this particular report was submitted to the presidency. There's now some evidence that, at least in the case of the former member of parliament for Manson Kwanta, Albert Joseph Kwam, nobody contacted him to ask him questions about this. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, my brother.
And he is a former member of parliament for the Manson Kwanta constituency, was then also a member of the Minerals Commission of the Republic of Ghana. We've heard him. All the issues that have come up, we asked on your behalf. But a number of people have also been responding to the details of this particular report. My guest will be joining me shortly, but this is Gabi Asare Chidako, cousin to the president, who is also mentioned in the report. He granted an interview to Accra-based City FM, City TV. Take a look.
Very unprofessional of a minister to personalize an issue such as that. Very unprofessional to drop a name on a matter that was purely about a lawyer asking questions about his client. Heritage happens to be a client to one of the lawyers at my firm, Adam. And Heritage had a prospecting license issued on 25th October 2018, okay, which was to expire October 2021. I believe what the minister is referring to happened after this. I think it was in 2019 or 2020. I can't recollect, but probably he has the date. They had a mining exploration operating permit issued 18th July 2019. They had a forest entry permit issued 12 November 2018, and also an EPA permit. My lawyer comes to me and says that his client, with all these permits and licenses, goes on site with equipment to do prospecting, and the soldiers have come to seize the equipment. Okay? Now, what do you do as a lawyer? The first thing I did was I asked, but are they with your people? Said yes. So I spoke to the. So
you called the soldiers first?
Yes.
Okay.
To ask what really was going on. And then they said that they were acting on the instructions of the minister. So I called the minister for clarification. Clarification in the sense that I have a client who has all the documents or permits and licenses required to do prospecting. Everything. And he goes on site, and then soldiers come to basically stop, not just stop them from working, but to seize all the equipment. So I asked the minister, but they have permits, so what really, I want to understand the issue. And then the minister fires back and says, they are not prospecting, they are mining. And I said, but minister, the information I have is that they took the equipment on that site today. So I want to be educated. Are the equipment for prospecting different from those that you need to mine? He couldn't answer. And I asked the technical people. They said, no, they're the same equipment. I said, so, I mean, they've just going on site today. So how can you? Said, oh, well, they shouldn't have been given the permit to enter the forest. I said, well, I mean, are you challenging the permit as fake? He said, no, but it shouldn't have been issued. I said, yeah, but that's a different matter. But I just want to understand really what the issues are. Is it that, so essentially he gave me his side of the story, which is that he believes that what they were doing was mining, not prospecting, even though they had just gone on site. And that was the conversation that we had.
So what happened after that? Did you then tell him to let the people continue with the work? What kind of intervention did you make?
My intervention was to understand why a company, a legitimate company, with all the licenses and permits required to do prospecting, was being stopped from doing their work. And that's what lawyers we do.
But in this case, they were in a forest reserve, and per the rules around the illegal mining thing, people in the reserves, particular reserves, were supposed to halt operations. How different is this?
There was no issue about halting operations. It was an issue of being issued a forest entry permit. And they entered the mining concession after they were issued all the permits. So even if there was an issue, then it is an issue between the regulatory bodies. Okay? I mean, I wasn't even, if you like, it's not my brief, as it were, but it's because their job was being frustrated. And I had before me all the documents that they required to do legitimate mining, and they were being frustrated. That is why I placed the call, to understand why that was happening to them. I'm very disappointed in the minister deliberately, because that's all I can say, deliberately twisting an inquiry by a lawyer of a client's issue to be an interference. And the thing is, this is a phone call that lasted maybe 3-4 minutes. And he said, it ended by saying, look, they shouldn't have been issued the license in the first place. So that's when we ended the conversation. So I went back to ask the question. I said, no, it's the Forestry Commission that issued us this license. And for me, that was the end of the matter for me, in terms of my dealings with this matter. My lawyer took it up, and it was resolved.
But to the extent that, I mean, whether you want to admit it or not, most people know that you have some clout, you're influential, and all that with regards to government and all that. You calling the minister, it's not out of place for him to feel that you're interfering based on this background.
Let the minister come and tell me that when I called him, I instructed him, in inverted commas, to do what was not right. Let the minister come and say that when I called him, I was pushing an illegitimate point. Let the minister come and say so. If you read, has he said anything like that? All he said, because my points, I based my intervention on the legality of what my clients were doing and what I saw to be the illegitimate action of the state against a company that the same state had issued permits and licenses to undertake its business legitimately.
Now, in this report, he says he told the president about what you had done, and the president said he would deal with the matter. Did the president ever call you or speak to you on this particular matter?
But it even tells you how weak the minister's understanding of his position is. If what I did was illegitimate, why don't you take the right action? He's going to report me to the minister as if he's a teacher, and the president is a master, and I'm what, a school prefect, and I've done something wrong. I mean, what kind of silliness is this? I mean, I don't even want to comment on that. That he reported me to the president. For the president to do what?
To call you to order.
The president is a lawyer. The president is a lawyer, and he knows that lawyers are supposed to what? To protect the legitimate business of their clients. So why would the president call me on a matter like this? Why would he even go to the president to complain? Because it's not as if he was going to say that when he got the soldiers to freeze or stop the people from working, I went to give a counter instructions to the soldiers. And the soldiers, ignored his and took mine. Do you understand what I'm saying?
You're calling him, asking questions, snooping around. Isn't that interference, Gabi?
No, but really, isn't it what you do?
My job is to snoop around, get information, all that.
And my job is not to protect the right of my client.
I think I can't speak for him, but you think the issue to do with Gabi as a person, not as a lawyer.
But I'm saying that when I called him, and he is in his report, I told him that I'm a lawyer for the company. If they have all the permits issued legitimately by the state entities that are supposed to issue the permits and licenses, if they are working, then you, the minister, you have no right to interfere.
But
that's what he did.
Yeah, but he found out.
What he did is rather what I saw to be interference, not me intervening on behalf of my client.
So he found out along the line that what they were doing, they were in a reserve they shouldn't be. He has a right to speak to the regulators to stop their work or get the work to be stopped whilst investigations start, because obviously that permit wasn't issued under his regime as well.
No, but he was what? In charge of what? Science and environment? And there was an EPA permit. It's not under him. It is under him. EPA permit that was issued. I can show you a copy of the EPA permit. Is that not under him?
Well, that's Gabi Asare Otredakun, cousin to President Akufo-Addo, whose law firm was the lawyer to one of the companies captured in this report, the 35-page report by Professor Kobna Frimpong Boateng, as having been allegedly engaged in illegal mining in a forest reserve. And Gabi Otredakun, in that interview with City FM and City TV, said he was only protecting the interest of his client. Stay with me here on Key Point. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. The second part of this conversation, have my guest already seated in studio with me. You've heard the former member of parliament who was captured in that report. Joining me now is member of parliament for the Ningo Pram Pram constituency, Samuel Nate George. Honorable, good morning. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Great. Also, Joseph Didiok Penka, former Deputy Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana, member of the New Patriotic Party. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, bro.
Council. Let me also welcome Martin Pebo, private legal practitioner, and also the leader of one of three individual bondholder groups, the convener of the Komipreko Reloaded demonstration. Pebo, as always, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you.
Also, Professor Ransford Jampo is a professor of political science at the University of Ghana, Legon. Prof, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great. This is Key Point. We will be back shortly after this quick break. We will zoom straight into the other aspects of this report my guests have been looking into. Stay with me. We'll be back shortly.
You need to ask yourself, where do you want to go? No matter who you are. Trust yourself. Doing big. Break the rules, not the laws. Keep pushing. Everything is possible. Trust yourself. Life is about confidence. Africa, it's your time.
Son, live with confidence.
Put that smile on the faces of your family and friends this month of Ramadan by shopping at Melcom on goods at affordable prices ranging from groceries, electronics, homeware, kitchenware, furniture, home decor, and many more. Terms and conditions apply. Melcom, where Ghana shops.
So who will it be? Who will be going to Dubai with me?
Me. Babe, think about all the fun we'll have if you pick me.
I am your father, your school fees payer. You must obey.
Bachaliki, you know they be bros before all those.
Who would you choose?
Your favorite milk is taking you and a special someone to Dubai in the ideal Sochi to Dubai promo. Just peel, text, and you could win this and other exciting prizes. This advert is FDA approved.
Nestle, good food, good life.
1xBet, reliable bookmaker with high odds, wide selection on events, and bonuses for every taste. 1xBet, easy use, easy win.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below 18 years.
Last year was massive. This year, it will be the bomb. Tour du Ghana, the ultimate cycling event in the sports calendar, happening on the 20th and 21st of May 2023. Confirm your participation. Registration fee is 200 Ghana cedis for single riders, while 100 Ghana cedis goes for clubs with 10 riders or more. Your registration comes with personal accident cover, accommodation, feeding, and transportation. Start point of the tour is from the West Hills Mall, SCC to the Takrady Mall, and from Takrady to the Cape Coast Chapel Square. For more details, contact 0244 893758 or 0546 063 747. Tour du Ghana, happening on the 20th and 21st of May 2023. Be part of the excitement.
3FM Tour du Ghana is brought to you by Super Yogo.
The fishing industry in Ghana is of prime importance to the economy and the well-being of the people. Sadly, this critical industry faces a hidden threat that threatens its very existence and survival. Join us as we shine our spotlight on the canker of illegal fishing, a practice that has devastated our marine resources, depleting our fish stock, leaving our fishermen with empty nets, fish processors struggling to survive, and our communities in dire straits. We delve into safe fish handling and processing, certification and licensing schemes. we focus our sharp lenses on child labor and trafficking in fishing communities to demand accountability and responsiveness from duty bearers. Join Three Foundations advocacy for Ghana's fisheries recovery through missions compelling and captivating advocacy. Keep an eye out on TV3. This program is under the auspices of the Feed the Future Ghana Fisheries Recovery Activity, funded by USAID, from the American people, live on News 360 and across all Media General social media platforms.
Hi, I'm Afi Antonio. Join me on the Ladies Cycle this Saturday.
What is autism?
Autism has to do with the brain processing information.
It's better to give than to receive. But you don't mind receiving? Oh, I love to receive.
Very nice. I like your technique. I like your technique. Very nice. 3, let's go. Let's go. And no.
It promises to be fun.
And if you're renting, how we do in the 21st century? Jesus, when we get the money, call anytime, and it's an emergency. Before you get this is Ladies Circle.
The Ladies Circle shows this Saturday at 6 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by Yaz Sanitary Pad,
Onga, Yumvita,
MTN.
It's about to get more sporty, with a touch of super entertainment with your favorite stars.
Times we played the Twitinga, the Chaskele, the football.
Who should I take? Tony Cruz?
Cruz.
Why?
While keeping you up to date with every trending issue in your world of sports on Warmer Plus.
But in comes Thomas Tuchel and everything changes.
And when he said he wanted to be better than me, I was happy.
Let's keep it more sporty and super entertaining.
Warm Up Plus now shows on Saturdays at 11 a.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by Betway.
I don't want to go into details now because I have a lot to say on that. But let me tell you that I did not take one excavator for anything. And they know the truth. Now things are coming up. We know those who are behind it and the party people who are there, people in government, including Jubilee House, who are doing Galamsey and so on, even now. So let Frimpong Boateng stay in his corner and enjoy his retirement.
Well, that's Professor Kobna Frimpong Boateng in that interview with the state broadcaster GTV. I was proud to the leakage of this 35-page explosive report that we've had a number of people captured in there also coming out to respond. But we've established, at least with the former member of parliament who's also captured in the report this morning, that as far back as 19th of March 2021, when this report was handed over to the presidency, no action has been taken, at least in his case. And that creates a lot of concern as well for many who are watching the space. Welcome back. This is Key Point. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, 3FM 92.7. Before I went for the break, my guest with me in studio. Let me start off with you, Honorable Sam George, on this particular issue, especially because this clearly it never goes away. It may not go away until something revolutionary or drastically changes about this. 2482 says, you know what, let's not continue to lie to ourselves with conferences and other things. We know the people or the government officials who were gathered in that room about the conference meant to fight illegal mining. 30% of them know those who are engaged in illegal mining. What has to be done? You see this report and the details of it, Honorable.
Well, a very good morning to you, Alfred, to my distinguished co-panelists, very distinguished gentlemen in their own rights, and to our viewers, and to the good people of Ningo Pram Pram. Well, when we say good people, someone asks, what about the bad people? So to everybody in Ningo Pram Pram. It gives me great pleasure to be here this morning, but I'm very disturbed because when you read this report, it sounds like the obituary of water bodies in Ghana.
Obituary of water bodies?
Absolutely. That's what this report is. It's like a 37-page report, 37-page obituary of water bodies and our forest reserves. It is sad to see the counter reactions, claims, and banter that is ongoing. Professor Frimpong Boateng is no roadside personality in this country. I mean, this is arguably Ghana's most celebrated medical practitioner, and like a cardio surgeon of international repute. Has worked in Germany and in Europe and across the world, is well documented. So we're not talking of some party foot soldier who is engaged in PSA or whose credibility is in question. We're not talking of palm wine conversation under a baobab tree. We're talking about a detailed report from a seasoned professional who has been a minister of state, tasked with chairing the president's own campaign against illegal mining. The first thing that hits me is the answer to the question the former member of parliament for Manso gave when you asked him if he has been called to answer any questions on this report. I'm wondering why the chief of staff and the presidency has not called any of the individuals mentioned in this report. If what the former member of parliament is saying is true, they've not called them to hear their sides of the story and open an investigation. This is something that should have been referred to the special prosecutor by now. Because if you read that report, allusions are made against persons living and dead on actions that they took that constitute a grave threat to the survival of our biodiversity and ecosystem. Look, in the report, a picture is put, of the River Pra?
Yes.
An aerial view of the River Pra when the NDC handed over power. And you see, for me, except the accusation is that Professor Frimpong Boateng has defected to the NDC and is out to destroy the NPP, I see this as the work of a patron. And I'm not by any stretch also saying that everything in here may be 100% correct or sacrosanct. Professor Frimpong Boateng also has his own questions to answer. But he puts an aerial satellite image of the river at the time the NDC handed over power. In fact, let me just go to the page in the report where he does that. I think it's page 17.
Page 17, yes.
Yeah, yes, page 17. He puts it in there and then goes on to even state subsequent aerial views and the damage. So you see December 2017, what the river looked like in the concession area. And then in June 2018, you see the amount of damage in the space of 6 months that had happened. He makes references to human beings and corporate entities. I'll be interested to see them go to court, like the MP here has, the former MP had stated, because it will be important for us to get to the basis of this. Just that, again, our courts are another kettle of fish. But you see, Alfred, to hear and read some of the things that were said in here, and listen, without any prejudice to the former member of parliament and whatever hearings we had, listening to Honorable, what was his name? Kwam. There were several contradictions in his submissions in his conversation with you. several contradictions. In fact, some of the things he said indicted himself and sought to give credence to what Frimpong Boateng's report had said on issues involving illegal mining going on in his district, the role he may have played or not played. He indicted himself. To any discerning mind who listened to him, it was obvious what the situation was. But you know what is very telling? And it is the stuff of Hollywood fiction. But in Ghana, it is our reality. That the president's own residence in Chebi, the president, his own house in Chebi, his garden was dug up. Portions of President Akufo-Addo's garden was dug up in search of gold by the NPP regional constituency youth organizer.
That's captured in the report.
In the report, the president's own youth organizer dug up the president's residence. Where was security? The president's residence at home, in his hometown of Chebi, must be a security zone. Where was the security that his garden got dug up by his own youth organizer searching gold? And the president didn't know about it. And then they had to go and get, Frimpong Boateng had to get a bulldozer and excavator to go and reclaim the land and revegetate the president's garden so that the president can come home and have a garden. Jesus Christ. I mean, look, the persons who have been mentioned, and you see, Frimpong Boateng's report, why you cannot take it as a work of a literary piece of work, but as something serious, is the kinds of names he mentioned. Captain Koda. Captain Koda is head of presidential security. He is literally responsible for the president's security. Excavators are arrested doing galamsey, doing illegal mining. And Captain Koda calls the police station in the eastern region where the excavators that were seized were sent. And he orders the police to release the excavators because the person whose excavators it is another MP. A sitting MP who is his brother. So familial benefits over national good. Look, I can go on and on. Look, in the report that Frimpong Boateng prepared, he says that what is going on in the eastern region is horrible. Those are his own words, not my word. And that you can't even speak about it. You have Sir John, who willed in his will, his last will and testament, willed the Achimota forest forever to a family member of his that he had appointed as director of operations, Charles Owusu. Don't forget, Charles Owusu is supposed to be a reverend minister.
So I think it's captured in this report as well.
And that's why I'm saying that what Frimpong Boateng has done cannot be taken lightly. Because you see, Sir John is indicted in this report. And he's indicted through the same Charles Owusu as being the coordinator of a gang of Chinese miners mining in forest reserves that the Forestry Commission is supposed to be protecting without any license. Charles Owusu was the director of operations at the Forestry Commission. This same Charles Owusu is the one who the Achimota forest was willed to forever by Sir John. If you connect the dots, you cannot discount what Frimpong Boateng is saying. In there, a Peace FM reporter, the police, his statement to the police is added to the report, where he says that the regional security coordinator, John Oforiatta, and the names are interesting, John Oforiatta, Central Regional Security Coordinator, working with the vice chairman of the NPP in the region, Eko Ewusi, used a Peace FM report. Look, that prima facie on the surface, circumstantial evidence points to a number of offenses. Former Deputy Attorney General is here. First and foremost, the fact that illegal mining was going on and they were involved in it. When excavators were seized, they then took illegal monies from the owners of those excavators and got a Peace FM reporter, Seth Mante, to use his bank account at NIB for money laundering. Because the monies were paid to that gentleman,
He basically goes to then withdraw the money. He says between 50,000 to 55,000. His own testimony is in the report. He withdraws the money, and then it is shared between the regional security coordinator, John Oforiata, and then the MPP vice chairman, Eko Ewusi. You see, Chief, you remember the tape that came out? Party Hiansika. Eko Ewusi was there. Frimpong Boateng himself was there. That's why I said he himself may have questions to answer. And I've heard that Charles Bishop says he knows a lot. Hey, spill it. Let us know. Look, when the president spoke and said, I put my presidency on the line, if the president really meant it, the president would have resigned by now.
He would have resigned by now?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because the president put his presidency on the line. Nobody put a gun to his head to say it. If the president could not get his own people, his head of security, Captain Koda, his senior minister, Yao Safumafo, is mentioned. His prime minister, his cousin, Gabio Chedako, is mentioned.
Mischief.
His party youth organizer dug up his own garden. He's mentioned. The national women organizer of the MPP, Kate Jemfa, is mentioned. Who else do you want to mention? If everybody around the president is involved in Galamsey, including his director of operations, names have been mentioned, Lord Comey, his minister for information,
they've all come out
was supposed to have organized the media, including NDC media, to attack Frimpong Boateng. All of these people around the president are alleged to have been involved in it, and the president says he doesn't know. That's why the economy is in the mess that it is, because then the president doesn't know anything. So you can't tell me that all of these people are doing all of this, and the president is unaware, absolutely unaware of what is going on a the president didn't promise us that managing the economy, he will put his presidency on the line. So he can fail in that one, you can't hold him. But he promised us that he would make sure. Look, let me ask you a question. When the president gave the directive that there should be a ban on importation of excavators, have you seen the number of excavators that have still been imported into the country? Who is enforcing the president's directive? So do we have a president who speaks and his appointees disregard it? Chamfang machines have only one purpose. You can't use Chamfang machine to pump water in your house. You can't use Chamfang machine to go and do irrigation on a farm. Chamfang machine is used to dredge the base of our river bodies and mine in our river bodies. How Chamfang machine, you can't put it in a purse. You can't fold it and put it in hand luggage. You can't fold it and put it in your pocket and walk through Kotoka International Airport. It is imported through our ports, either Takrady or Tema. National security people are there carrying big gota phones and intimidating people. How are the Chamfang machines entering Ghana?
And some of them, we understand, we also established that some of them are assembled.
Chief,
in this country.
The parts of a Chamfang machine, even this bottle of water, if I put it in my pocket, you will see. So how are these parts brought in? And nobody can tell. When you bring in parts, don't people disassemble weapons and hide them in cars? Yet at the port, we are able to detect that a weapon, an AR-15 or an M16 has been disassembled and put inside a metal container, which is a vehicle. We are able to spot those ones. Yet we can't spot Chamfang machine because it's been disassembled. Bruh.
You take cognizance of the responses as well by some of the people who have been captured in this report, Mr. George, and I'll come back to you on that. Because after this report was made public and the allegations in there which you made reference to, Gabi Asare Chidako has at least come out to speak, which we played. Kojo Ponkroma has issued a statement about the said meeting that he's reported to have had with MPP and NDC journalists to run down Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, Professor. He says that it was a training organized by the Bank of Ghana and then some other organizations for that's Prempag for journalists in financial reporting specifically, and that it was not for any hatching of a plan or a secret meeting in a hotel in Dodowa. Now, Let me bring in the former Deputy Attorney General. Does the details of this report establish prima facie evidence enough for the president to take action? As some judge was saying, that after all this, we haven't seen or nothing has been reported to us that an action has been taken. If what the MP said earlier is anything to go by, that nobody has contacted him. The details, as we have seen, is it enough to establish prima facie evidence?
Thank you very much. Good morning to my co-panelists, Prof. Brother Martin, and my very good friend, Sam George. Baraka da Salah, the good people of Timpani constituency and Ghana at large.
Indeed. We'll all do it at the end of the show. Sure, yes. It is important.
It now explains your outfit.
Absolutely.
Now,
they should be circumspect in their riding of motorbikes.
I will soon deal with the issues in a greater detail.
Right.
But let me first establish that we owe a duty of care to protect our environment for the sake of now and posterity. I have said it, and I will say it in my preliminary comments this morning again, that on several fora I have attended, both within and outside of this country, I have said that we are preparing ourselves for mass suicide tomorrow as a country. Mass suicide because our activities, engagement, and conduct will eventually destroy nature and destroy us completely. I have said this, and I still stand by what I have said previously. As a people, we appear to be interested so much in gratification of the body today and forgetting about posterity, that little economic benefits to our person and selves are becoming one too many than what we are thinking about posterity and the future, for that matter. But let me go to the Constitution 1992. And I'm happy my brother Kwebu is here. Now, when you look at the directive principles of state policy, Article 36, particularly 36(9) of our Constitution, it says, and my brother, with your permission, yes, the state shall take appropriate measures needed to protect and safeguard the national environment for posterity, and shall seek cooperation with other states and bodies for purposes of protecting the wider international environment for mankind. This is a constitutional injunction that all of us are enjoined and called upon to uphold to the latter for the sake of today and posterity. Now, if you play this constitutional injunction against the backdrop of happenings over the years, not just in the last 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years, but over the last 20, 30 years in our constitutional democracy, what deliberate policies have we put in place to safeguard the environment for the purposes of the present and future generations? Very important and a big challenge and a statement that we need to take cognizance of. What we are doing now, we are engaging simply in unbridled, unrestrained, reckless, and unregulated environmental destruction. That's what we are doing as a people. And I have said it time and again that the earlier something drastic was done about it, the better for all of us. Now, His Excellency the President of the Republic, I'm tying it down to this report, stated, and I heard a sound bite again this morning by a very reputed medium, that he was ready to put his presidency on the line. And for me, he did put his presidency on the line. I will come back to the report. But Mr. Okanse, look at what happened in the communities or the constituencies where mining was endemic. 90 to 95% of them in the 2020 elections, the New Patriotic Party lost. That's a statement of fact. Pristia, Uni Valley, those areas in the western region, mining endemic communities. Even where we won, it was very narrow, like Takwa and Swaim. and all that. So if you look at the statement, if you analyze the president's statement carefully against the backdrop of happenings in the country leading to the 2020 elections, you will realize that indeed His Excellency the President, by elevating the fight and asking Operation Vanguard to actually ensure that the environment was protected and going to the sites to stop illegal mining and etc., affected the voting fortunes of the New Patriotic Party in the 2020 election. That cannot be in dispute at all.
Would you say that that particular outcome or that impact of his statement may have just then weakened the resolve to fight it now because of the threat of the political loss that you suffered?
Well, I cannot come to that conclusion, but I will continue to look at the issue holistically. Alfred, if you look at the president's statement, as I said, against the backdrop of the happenings, and the fact that you need to have political power first before you can even implement whatever ideas you have, and the advocacy by CSOs and other individuals for the protection of our environment and etc. If you look at all that and play it against the backdrop of happenings, as I said, His Excellency the President actually put his presidency on the line. That is a statement of fact, and I don't think that anybody will contradict that. My brother George pointed out what happened at Chebi. If you look at the report, it is very clear from the report, and without any contradiction, if you take it for what it is, prima facie, it established a lot of damning things. That's a statement of fact. So even when you, George mentioned that Prof in his report indicated that even the president's own garden was affected and all that. Remember, Prof also added that the president was not aware.
Yes.
It's part of the report.
That's a feeling in itself.
He was not aware that this was the situation at his own backyard. He wasn't aware. And remember that the president is not omniscient and omnipotent and omnipresent. He's not. He relies on information provided by actors and agents who are mandated to do so by law and who are employed by the state so to do. So it is not possible, if the information hasn't come to his attention by those he has actually put in place to give him that report, if they haven't brought it to his attention, it is impossible for him to know. That's a statement of fact.
Does it not raise some curiosity, at least for you, that if, even though Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng establishes in the report that the president wasn't aware that his backyard, his garden in the house in Chebi, there was galamsey going on, his backyard had been dug. Are people not living in that house? That's number one.
It's not guarded by the police.
Is it not a national security facility? That is the president's.
So that's why I'm not coming to tell you. So that's why I'm saying that the actors
who were there did not inform the president or take action.
That's why I'm saying that. I agree with this your intervention totally, and I'm saying that those who have been employed by the state to take care of the president's security to that extent that the president wasn't aware that galamsey was ravaging his own garden, it means that those people who were employed as security to ensure the safety of the president had failed him. That's what I will say with that respect. Because if they had actually drawn his attention to it and put in measures to stop it, then Prof would not have moved there with excavators to go and reclaim the land and all that. That I agree. But the point is, look, galamsey is, for me, is an organized crime. Organized crime because the way it is being carried out, if you even find yourself as a stumbling block, and they will have to get you out by even taking your life in order for them to carry out their activity, they will do it anyway. So, for me, all of us need to put our hands on the wheel and ensure that we elevate the fight to another level. Otherwise, the report we are reading may not even be as damning as we think. You know, I have said it several times that as a country, probably one of the most underreported, under-discussed, and under-analyzed crimes is galamsey. We have completely underreported the devastating impact and effect of galamsey on our environment. We have underestimated it. And for me, we probably will count the cost in great billions in years to come if care is not taken to turn the tide and it continues the way it is. Because look, If you go to my constituency, which mining is not taking place, you will find that the majority of the working age have migrated to the Galamsey areas. Some of them with degrees, diplomas, and etc. without jobs have all migrated to the area there. And they continue to wreak complete destruction of the environment, and they come home, some of them happy that they've been able to make their grass green by engaging in Galamsey and all that. And look, look, most of the areas that they are even operating cannot be accessed by the security. If you go to the area where the soldiers will drive their cars to the roadside and then park and move in and try to flush out 1 or 2 persons, what about the areas where vehicles cannot have access? What happens? Those areas where a vehicle cannot have access to the place. Deep in the forest, you have people walking 10, 20 kilometers deep into the forest to go and do illegal mining. Now, I gave an example the other time of a nephew in the western region who went home to perform his father's funeral and returned and realized that his 10-acre cocoa farm had been completely razed down. Completely. The case is currently in court by an illegal miner who collaborated with a chief of the area. And then they got the entire cocoa farm brought down. So when he took it to court, I was even of the thinking that the police would have initiated some prosecutions. But the person is there, I mean, it is civil litigation as we speak. What about the criminal? Because the person didn't have license to do what he even did anyway. What is happening? And when the gentleman reported the matter to police, initially there was dragging of feet until they told him that he should go to court. What about the criminal component? Mind you, in 2020 we amended the law. And you can go to jail for up to 15 years. You know, and then this time you can either be fined or you go to jail or both. So we've enhanced the punishment, all with the aim of fighting Galamsey or taking the fight against Galamsey to another level. But just before I wind up.
But you know that it's one thing actually enhancing the law, and it's another thing implementing the law to check the said illegality for which the law has been enhanced.
I agree, because I mean, we have, as somebody once said, we have all the beautiful laws in Ghana that we have enacted. Our parliament has done due diligence and done so well in enacting beautiful laws, but our problem may be just the implementation of those laws for the benefit of the people. But just quickly on the report, if you look at it, there are individual actors who the prof is indicting. But what appears very interesting is he indicts all those persons, but exonerates himself. You know, and that's what is very interesting. The other people who work with him may also have some commentary to run on him. You know, but look at the various pages, page 3 and 16, which there's a mention of the very respected lawyer Gabi Asare Ochiridako, and he has responded 3 and 16. Then page 10, you have the Venerable Sir John. And there's commentary on him. And then you also have page 12 on Sam Kwam, that's the honorable former MP. Then page 15, you have Charles Owusu, who was working with Sir John. And then the senior minister, then now senior advisor, mentioned at page 26 and all that. These have all been mentioned specifically. And as we have all said, as lawyers, myself and Martin, we will say that, you know, we are unable sometimes to pass full judgment until you have heard the other side. Because if you run into conclusion by virtue of listening to one side, and the other side comes up with a story very strong enough to contradict what the other person is saying, then whatever conclusion you may have drawn at the beginning will be most unfortunate on that person. So we've heard some of them. Prof. Kwam was here this morning. He's actually tried to rebut some of them, and my brother has indicated that in his attempt to rebut it, he fell into contradictions and etc. But at least he tried to explain himself and his side of the story. Again, I've heard Gabi. He has also responded, and he said that he placed a 4-minute phone call, you know, and that has been misunderstood and misconstrued and all that. That is also his position and his response. I've also heard Lord Comey, the Director of Operations at the Office of the President. He has also responded and denied whatever allegations were made against him. I think that it is, if you also look at even the report itself, the statement by the journalist, as referred to by my brother Sam George, with whom I'm sometimes well pleased. Now, if you look at the statement, this was a statement given to the police, I believe. Yeah. Yes. So it means that some investigation was being done. You know, what we need to do is now to follow up to know the outcome of that investigation. But some investigation was indeed being done. That is why somebody went to give a statement. But clearly, we as lawyers, we will say that this is a confession statement. That's a confession statement because he states without equivocation that he had received various sums of money and deposited in his account and all that. But he has no authority whatsoever. He didn't tell us that he had authority to receive those monies.
But
legal authority.
On the basis of this copy you have, which we also have a copy, I'm sure, on the screen right now, this police statement by the said journalist is a confession statement that indeed
he committed
an offense.
Yes.
And you have established that the details of the report, at least in the face of it, establishes some prima facie.
Yes. At least as far as this journalist statement is concerned, there's a prima facie case for him to answer.
Fantastic. Does it not worry you that between March 19, 2021 and now, there is no clear evidence of any action taken by the presidency on this matter? Because, as you have established, that there was indeed there is prima facie evidence in the details of this report. Couldn't the president, or as it were, the details we have seen, been enough basis for the president to take certain actions? Mr. Gwenka.
First of all, let me draw your attention to something. Earlier, this report, for me, as it is now, which some of them are being contradicted, others stand uncontested so far, should have even come earlier, in my candid opinion. Why? Because I find that probably, if the minister had retained his position, he may never have written this one. That's my understanding of the situation, because most of these things he talked about happened as far back as 2017 and 2018. But he was minister all until 2020. And no report of that nature was written, but this one was 2021, I believe.
This was contained in his handing over report.
That is the point. So if it was good intentioned, then it should have been earlier, so that, we would have the benefit of discussing it in detail to find out. But you were exiting government, and you put that in your handing over notes. It could have been done earlier to draw attention to the actors and players.
But
so is it good intention? Because, for example, if, let's say that he was retained as Minister for Environment and he was handing over to himself, do you think that we would have found this piece of information? That's the question we should be asking ourselves. But your question specific about the actions, I wouldn't know specifically what actions have been taken with respect to the report that was submitted to the office of Chief of Staff.
At least in the case of the former member of parliament who was with us in the studio this morning, he says nobody has called him. Between 2021 and now, he's been captured in this report with these damning allegations against him. And per Gabi Asor-Chidako's interview, he also says that the president, he asks that, look, why should Professor Afepo go and report me to the president? And what can the president do? What was he expressing the president to do? To call me, to ask me questions?
I know why he asked that, because it's very clear why Gabi asked the question he asked. Because he's not a government appointee. He was stating his position that, look, he was acting as a private legal practitioner for his client. So he wasn't somebody who was accustomed to the direction and control of the president at that time.
Yes.
Because the president doesn't control the actions of individual private lawyers. So that is his defense that he was raising, which is genuine.
I only made reference
by all intent and purpose, that's a genuine defense that anybody can proffer. If, let's say that Gabi was holding a public office and conducted himself in the manner that he did, then one would have said that he used his position as a public officer to influence another minister for the benefit of... So there you can establish crime, you can establish some kind of influence peddling and etc. against him. But in this particular case, he said he did it as lawyer for his client.
Great. Now, and the question I'm asking is not necessarily to, as it were, send any indication of indictment against all the persons captured in here, including Gabriel Chiwedakom. What I'm saying is that since you agree that some prima facie evidence has been established, at least per the details of this report, you are asking if there was evidence of any action by the presidency. And I'm saying that per the commentary of the persons, some of the persons who have been captured in there, it clearly indicates that there was no action, or they weren't even invited to at least answer questions, not to indict. You know, you know what? Your name has been captured in this report, handed over to me by the former minister.
It's possible references have been made to the security to investigate these matters. Some of these matters, they could refer it straight to the security to investigate. And they don't need to put out statements to tell you that we've received a report from the Minister for Environment on the basis of which we've commissioned people to investigate. They could refer it for investigations. So it's possible investigations have been conducted into the matter. Again, as I indicated, what is in public domain now is the fact that a statement was written by Seth Mante to the police. We can trace to that police station and know when he wrote the statement and then how far, whether they have built a duplicate docket on it and whether they are prosecuting or if they forwarded it to the Office of Attorney General and etc. We can make further inquiry because these are public records. You know, I mean, you don't give police statement in a bedroom. You give it at a police station. And so these are public records. So we can now follow up and know what actions were taken thereafter. Okay. Again, we can also follow up and find out, I mean, you are a reputed house. You can find out if some other further actions have been taken on this matter after the report was submitted to the office of
But if there was action taken, wouldn't there be evidence to that effect that indeed action
of course, indeed, there will be evidence.
Good. And now we don't know, and we haven't seen any evidence to that effect, correct?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Great. But that will not also mean that there was no action taken. But the fact that you don't have any evidence doesn't mean, because until we get a clear categorical statement from the office of Chief of Staff, you cannot come to that conclusion.
Respectfully, you know that if they are being, for instance, prosecuted or investigation is taking place, there will be public document.
That's what I indicate. Absolutely.
Respectfully.
Absolutely.
As we speak now, there is no evidence of any investigation. The only investigation which was made public, the directive to investigate, which was made public by the president, was after Professor Kwabena Boateng gave this interview to GTV a couple of weeks ago. Then he made the allegation that even people, he has heard that even people at the Jubilee House are engaged in illegal mining. It was after that that we read of a public directive from the presidency for investigations to be conducted into that said allegation by him on that during that interview on GTV. So that directive was public. So we're making reference to this. Would you also admit, respectfully, that if there was any directive into this particular detail, there would have been some sort of public record to review that indeed the president took action in investigating the details of this said report by Professor Kwabena Boateng? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, so what I have indicated to you is that, you see, as you have pointed out yourself, it was part of handing over notes of the minister at the time, and he has spoken to it of recent times. Remember that this was a situation where it wasn't a change of government from one party to the other. It was a continuation, right? So you have all the sectors and the various ministers submitting their reports. Government will have to go through, review most of these handing over notes and find out where questions are there to be answered. The questions are answered. So the fundamental thing we should be looking at is looking at all the ministries put together and the handing over notes that would have been written by all the ministers and etc. Fact is that government has to go through them. And I don't have any evidence that government has gone through all of them and yet has come to a conclusion that there's a need for someone to answer but hasn't asked the person to answer. I don't have that evidence that government has failed to act after taking notice of this, because that will even contradict what His Excellency the President directed after the statement was made by Professor Frimpong Boateng on that medium that, look, he had said A, B, C, D, and the President thereafter directed that investigations be conducted into it. Because remember that I heard him this morning when you played the tape. It was very emphatic. He said that some people at Jubilee House were engaged in Galamsey and etc. So in that case, when a report is made to the security agencies, it will be for him to now provide evidence to support the security agencies to be able to build a case, probably against those named individuals. But to make a sweeping statement that some people, without being specific, and then you mention names of people who are involved. Because remember that even the two people he mentioned at the Jubilee House, that would be Captain Koda and Lord Comey, have both come out to state, I mean, at least Lord Comey has come out to state his position. Even Captain Koda's response, if you look at it, wasn't per se that he was doing Galamsey. It wasn't.
Let me bring Lawyer Martin Pebo. Now, you've seen the details, at least most of it. And the former Deputy Attorney General has established that indeed the details of the report establishes some level of prima facie evidence. What actions could the President have taken which could or should or could have been made public for us all to see that indeed action is being taken about the details of this said report, apart from what we are hearing now from the persons who have been captured in the report, who have not, and let me say, in all their responses, they have not indicated that they were called by the presidency, none of them, to answer questions about this report. Lawyer.
Okay, so just a small comment before we go in there. The first comment is to laud the person who leaked the report, right? Yes, because one thing that would not escape you is that the fact that that person has strengthened our democracy. Because
I believe it's Kevin Taylor.
Okay.
Loud Silence Network. So if you read it, you see his watergram logo
first,
in there. He's the first person to have leaked the report. Kevin Taylor of Loud Silence.
Commendations to him, because this helps our democracy a lot. Because you see that for the president, he was interested in what? Shielding the appointees involved. So he didn't have any incentive to bring it out. You know, that's how he behaves. You remember this NDA matter? Dr. Namzoya reported that public officers were about to steal money. He didn't do anything for over 5 months until I took it to this Joy FM City and then subsequently here. Right? So it's the president's stock in trade.
So you are saying he didn't do anything in that particular instance?
Oh, yes, for over 5 months. The vice president was copied, the chief of staff, the letter was addressed to the chief of staff, all of them. They didn't do anything.
How did you know that he didn't do anything?
Oh, because I finally, it's when I blew it up on air, and then finally went to special prosecutor, and special prosecutor stepped in and then did the investigations. And the people are now before court. They were going to treat it as a foolish case. You see, that's how the president behaves. He's not interested in fighting corruption. You hear even from page 1 what Professor Frimpong Boateng said. He said the corruption is unimaginable in Minerals Commission. Then he goes on to talk about the police, this military, etc. Good. So you're saying that what should he have done? In a matter like this, Alfred, in a matter like this, the best that the president, or let me say one of the most viable things he had to do, was to set up a commission of inquiry. You see, because it is a matter of national interest.
A commission of inquiry?
Yes, as sanctioned by the Constitution. Because when you do that, what it does is that then it gives the people the opportunity to come. Everybody will have their say publicly. Commission of inquiry, Professor Jampo, you support it? Yes. Commission of inquiry, because when you do that, yes, of course, the word independent is very, very important.
An independent commission of inquiry.
Yes, otherwise, if you're going to put party foot soldiers like what he has done to the Electoral Commission, you will never get independence. You remember the Electoral Commission appointed Dr. Apia Hine and Salima
How would this independent commission of inquiry function, as it were, to establish the facts beyond the responses of the people who have been captured in there as having allegedly been involved in illegal mining?
Great. So you know that from the way we do it, they would have sat openly. You remember Ayawaso West Wagon, this by-elections violence, the one that indicted Brian Champo and the rest, the party foot soldiers who were given national security uniforms and the rest, that day of shame. So you see that they sat in the public. People were cross-examined, Azugu and co, in public, and we all heard and made up our minds even before the commission report came. So that was the style that the president was supposed to use. But you know, because the president has sworn never to fight corruption, but to cover up things, all he had to do was to cover up, just pretend like the report doesn't exist. Okay? The president sworn by his deeds. Yes, by his deeds. That's the way I understand. What do you think? And the president is not interested in fighting corruption. That's how we see it. Yes.
You are making reference to the Constitution, exactly.
Yes. I want to read the relevant. So there are 3 grounds. Council of State. So Honorable Sam George, you guys are also indicted here. So did you ever?
When you say you guys,
as MPs, because members of Parliament under Article 278, you can also ask for the president to set up a commission of inquiry as the body. You know, Parliament, you have a duty.
The things you've asked the president to do, has he listened to you?
But you are representatives.
So lawyer, that would have been done if the MPs had knowledge of this report, correct?
Yes. But
so now that the report is public, you would expect that
you
want them to.
Yes, they should wade in. So let's go to 278.
So when we come back from recess,
it says that
we may call for a parliamentary probe or something.
Excellent. It says that subject to Article 5 of this Constitution, the President shall, by constitutional instrument, appoint a commission of inquiry into any matter of public interest where A, the President is satisfied that a commission of inquiry should be appointed, or B, the Council of State advises that it is in the public interest to do so, or C, Parliament, by a resolution, requests that a commission of inquiry be appointed to inquire into any matter specified in the resolution as being a matter of public importance. So our MPs, we are looking forward to this. Activate it as a body. You should be able to come together, because look, you heard this Honorable Kenka read Article 36, Clause 9, that says that the state should take steps to protect the environment. Take steps to protect the environment, and so on and so forth. So we can't sit down and allow this thing to continue, especially in the background or in the context that there was an earlier tape, once again, Honorable Kenka referred to, where Frimpong Boakye was in there. They were saying, party here, Sika. So Galamsey should go on. Party here, Sika. Party here, Sika. A report that at page 40, which page, the police service is indicted, that the police service, the policemen were taking bribes. So IGP, there's a portion for you, page 13, it says police were going around taking bribes at page 13 of it, right? Then, of course, you go to the military and all this. So we all have a stake in this particular report, that let's do a commission of inquiry style, so that the people will be cross-examined. Because look, for Professor Frimpong Boakye, this professor, you remember how Honorable Sam George referred to him to give such a report. Then let's not underestimate it all. Listen, I want to read the MP came, the Honorable Kwam, he came to deny. Listen, he says, page 12, talking about Honorable Kwam, he said, he used his position as a member of the Minerals Commission to acquire several dozens of large-scale concessions in his district, ostensibly for community mining purposes. He ended up selling these concessions to private individuals, including party members, for 200,000 cedis per concession. Then he went on. So in 2020, the electorate
he's come this morning to say it's not true.
Yeah, and I'm saying that, look, Honorable Professor Frimpong Boakye is still alive. For him to write this, I think, look, listen, we have to go into a commission of inquiry.
A commission of inquiry?
Yes, because you go on the other pages, page 13 or so, you hear him mention Lord Comey, Charles Tego, all right, and all the other people. No, especially looking at Professor Frimpong Boakye's stature. And it's not as if he's sick. So far, we've not seen anything like maybe he's suffering from Puku Blibli or Gbeshi or anything. There's no such evidence. So once we don't, yes, it's true. He hasn't shown that there's Puku Blibli or Gbeshi or anything. So naturally, the best we have to do is that let's go in for a commission of inquiry. Yeah, because too many people, look, page 14, he indicts S.K. Boafo, the chairman of the Minerals Commission Board. He says when they were going to launch the community mining thing, S.K. Boafo called the district chief executive and told him to block the program. Then this was reported to chief of staff. Chief of staff didn't do much, right? He goes on so many people, mentions people. NDC people involved in Galamsey. He says in Western region, the NDC people, they have an upper hand in Galamsey. That's page 13. He says more NDC in illegal mining in Western region than the MPP people. And so when this Vanguard was stopped, it gave NDC an upper hand. So their people were able to mine and use the money to sponsor candidates and etc. That the police were saying, the police, when Vanguard was taken out and then the police took over, the police who went there, they were NDC police, like NDC sympathizers. So they said, we're brought here by the government you voted for. Can you imagine policemen saying that?
So this on page 25 of the report.
We're brought here. We're sent by the government you voted for. Hey, Charlie, there are things in this report. Professor Frimpong, God bless you for writing it, and Kevin Taylor, God bless you for leaking it. You see, when you mention leakage, I've been reading this woman's book, No Higher Honor by Condoleezza Rice, right? She louts, though some parts she complains, but she talks about America too, the way State Department, people in the foreign ministry, right? They leak reports and all that, right? So you look at it and you see that in a democracy, you always need people to leak reports too, because if you remember the famous WikiLeaks, yes, WikiLeaks helped because it brought us so many things that they would deny. So you look at page 22, she says this, that leaks are debilitating, sowing distrust among the officials who have to work together and coloring the president's opinion. People do it to show that they are in the know or to advance a position. Yeah. So sometimes people leak to show that they are in the know or to advance a position. And I'm saying this one, it has advanced our democracy because now it's brought everything to the table. Because the president was fleeing from it, but he's been caught with his tail between his legs. Yes, the president has been caught with his tail between his legs. He was running away from this report, but karma is caught up with him. Now he has to deal with it. Let's go into the Commission of Inquiry. Let's deal with all the details.
So the Commission of Inquiry can be, per the law, at the instance of the president or Parliament.
Thank you, or the Council of State.
Or the Council of State.
Thank you.
So in this instance, if the president does not do it, members of Parliament can call for a Commission of Inquiry to be established.
Yes.
Or the Council of State can do so. These are the three ways the Commission of Inquiry can be established to look into the details of it. Because you see, in the end, this report has been leaked. And the people captured in there are all coming out to deny. How do we, as a people, get to know the facts?
Say that again. Yes.
Beyond reasonable doubt. So that, yes, even though the people have come to also explain and try to clear their names and respond to the allegations in there, Professor Frimpong Boateng would also be called to now give further and better particulars beyond the details of this report as to why he implicated such persons in the report. And these people would also come in front of a commissioner we are all seeing to also respond to it.
Yes.
Yesterday we put up a question as to which institution should investigate this beyond the public outcry and the commentary and the condemnation that we are doing on TV right now, which everybody is incensed about. We are all angry about the details of this report. Should it be the Office of Special Prosecutor, you think?
They have a role.
They have a role.
So what we should do is that let's do the public one first so that we see all the evidence, Fili Gadochi, right? So when we see it that way, then the Special Prosecutor will continue because under the constitutional instrument.
But you just need to be minded about if you want to really have criminal prosecution and you have a commission of inquiry, double jeopardy. You remember, people have gone to court to say that once there's a presidential commission,
Ghana 50.
Ghana 50, once there's a presidential commission, even if you find them, you cannot then prosecute them again. So if we want to prosecute people for this, let's go full hog. But if you do a presidential commission, there will be findings, but that is where it ends.
Now, that decision is not conclusive. That's a mistake.
But there was no appeal to the Supreme Court.
Yes, that's the position. That's the position of the law.
The position of the law.
No. Let's advance. The commission, the CI says that if you gather your independent evidence, you can go ahead. But when the person comes before the commission and comes to give evidence, that's what you want to take to prosecute him.
Absolutely.
No way.
I think that is the one. Exactly.
So that's the distinction. If you can gather your independent evidence, you can go ahead.
You don't allow him to come and give you evidence. Use his own evidence against him.
That is the difference. But we need a public one because, you see, what it does is that then everything has been laid out. We've heard various people. So it's difficult for people to now seek to kill some of the cases. You see, why you just refer everything to special prosecutor. Don't forget, special prosecutor is still not well resourced to. Special prosecutor has not even received the establishment budget. Remember, this is even something that lawyers at the bar have taken up. They are signing a petition to present to the president to resource the special prosecutor well. They are now, I understand, recruiting a few people here and there. Special prosecutor alone can't deal with this at this stage. So let's start something. Then they can do their independent investigations and do their criminal prosecutions. But in the meantime, let's do the two. Commission of Inquiry, publicly, they should come and answer. That's also accountability.
So that's a very important piece of information that I just wanted to. You know, I mean, about the various names that were mentioned, I just have some information that I want to put out there. You know, with respect to the firm of Gabi on the matter, my information is that they started representing the said company in 2019. And at the time they started representing the said company, the company already had all the documents. They had the concession and etc. And they were supposed to move in to start the mining. So they were acting for them based on the authentic document they presented to the firm. But thereafter, when the issues degenerated and Prof brought up this issue, then in 2021 or thereabout, they withdrew their legal representation for the company.
So, I see, so they've withdrawn their legal representation?
Yes, they've withdrawn their legal representation for the company thereafter. But at the time they started representing them, they pulled out all the documents that were necessary to qualify for mining in the area they were supposed to mine.
So after Prof. Frimpong Boateng raised these concerns, you said Gabi's legal firm withdrew their legal services.
Yes. When they
for
got
this
to know
said
all
company.
These, when they got to know all these things and the brouhaha that was surrounding it, they withdrew their.
This has to do with the heritage.
This is the
formerly CG Alaska.
Yes, CG Alaska.
So that is very important.
And that was the company that the late Major Mahama and the group
the military
also
department was taking care of that.
Taking care of the consignment of that said company. Thank you for that, Honorable Joseph Kwenka, on this. Professor Jampo. So, question is, after all this, because this is not the first time we've seen an expose on illegal mining, or well, this may be the most damning, to say the least. But what has to be done to give effect to the details of this report beyond the conversation and all this public outcry that we're seeing?
Well, I'm very sad this morning. And if you listen to the conversations, if you read the reports, you see how we have decided to destroy the very source of our livelihood, i.e. the environment, and how we are blaming each other for destroying our own source of environment, and how we have refused as a people to really put in place actions that ensure that we do not put more ecological footprints on the environment. It hurts, and like the former Deputy Attorney General said, maybe we are on a tangent of mass suicide. And if we don't pull the brakes, we would pay heavily for the consequences. You see, the effect of Galamsey has no discrimination on partisan coloration. It affects all of us.
Indeed.
And so I think we should be more serious. I have a feeling that the president could not sustain his promise to put his presidency on the line, especially given the outcome of the 2020 elections that I've always described as a victory with a taste of defeat for the NPP. Number two, it appears again that the state has also failed to protect the environment for posterity, even though Article 36 enjoins us to do so. And I'm still wondering whether we still have a credible body called the Council of State. I'm wondering whether we still have elders in this country. I am wondering whether we still have sober minds in Ghana. If we still have elders in this country who are expected to live over and above partisan politics and to look at things dispassionately without fear or favor, then I'm surprised why we haven't had them all these years in this fight. If they are truly elders in Ghana, then I am sorry to say that they are no longer worth their salt to occupy that status as elders. Because some of these things, if you leave it to the MPP NDC argument and this discourse, we would never win the battle against, illegal mining. Indeed. And so you would expect that some people will rise above partisan politics and begin to speak and to begin to make the serious calls on government to act. But everybody is quiet. Sometimes, you see, I am tempted to go back to the question or the rhetorical question from Reverend Professor Emmanuel Marte. I don't know wise people in Ghana. Can't we see that we are destroying ourselves? And so I am not really interested in who said what, who did what in the report. But the point is that the fight against illegal mining must be taken on seriously. Otherwise, we are on the tangent of mass public suicide. And so, yes, I also subscribe to the call that perhaps we should get an independent commission of inquiry to start some work comprising CSO leaders, academia, experts, traditional authorities, the clergy, and let us keep the self-seeking, the self-serving, and the self-aggrandizing socio-political and media cabals out of this commission, because in my view, they have nothing to offer in the fight against this menace. Also, we may want to go the route of establishing a special purpose agency or having an appointee with a special assignment to fight, to help fight this menace. Okay, so his responsibility could include a total reform of our mining sector, ensuring that we grant and renew licenses to only people who qualify. We would ensure a swift prosecution of people who've run afoul of our mining laws, and then also put in place measures for drastic land reclamation interventions. Now, if we do this, we may be making some giant strides. And you see, let us have that special appointee work, and then after that work, he exits. In Britain, they had a special appointee who was only in charge of fighting COVID. Afterwards, then you go back. So, so the point is, that intervention brings a certain focus. You know, when President Akufo-Addo started and he said he was prepared to put his presidency on the line, Suddenly there was a certain renewed fervor and interest in the fight against Galamsey. When he appointed this minister, the first minister, Amewu. We saw what Amewu was doing and the zeal with which he was going about it. But it appeared that suddenly the Galamseyers started issuing threats here and there. And so Amewu was reshuffled. And then we saw even the impact of what Amewu had done in the fight against Galamsey on the outcome of the 2020 elections. But the point is that if we truly mean business, if we truly have a sense of nationalism and patriotism, then somebody must be prepared to lose election just to fight for what is good. Somebody must be prepared to be voted out of power just to fight for the protection of our own source of livelihood.
I agree with you totally.
If you win power and tomorrow we are all dead and you yourself you are dead, what would be the essence of power? And so I think that I don't have much more to say beyond this. We should be serious in the fight against corruption. And I mean, your name will be written in gold, that because you decided to do what is right, because you decided to safeguard the very source of livelihood of your people, the people decided to vote for you, vote you out of power. And so what? What is power without human lives? So please, all have been said. I'm not interested in the blame games and people all of a sudden coming out to say that what Frimpong Boateng has said, you know, are untruths. And like others have said, it cannot be wholly or also entirely true that Frimpong Boateng himself is also not some way, somehow, you know, culpable. I mean, they all have questions to answer. But beyond the questions that people have to answer, I think that we must sit as a people and begin to rethink how we have decided to pussyfoot in the fight against Galamsey. And I'm saying that there should be elders in every nascent democracy who would help to pull the brakes. When even the president appeared to be losing it, when the president appeared all of a sudden not to be interested, or when the president is thinking about the impact of any proactive step on the future electoral fortunes of his party, you should have these elders coming up publicly to say that, look, we think that you are scared of the likely consequences of your fight on your party's electoral fortune, but we believe that this is the right way to go. They should come out publicly to be talking about some of these things. But you have elders in Ghana who prefer to advise we, the young ones behind the scenes, and when you tell them that you are matured enough, you have the clout, you have everything to be able to go public to say, they said, no. As for us, we fear insults. As for us, we are about to die, so we just want to remain behind. If they insult you, so what? I mean, what would an insult do to an elder who really means well and wants to help fight to secure Ghana for the sake of your own grandchildren? And so the elders in Ghana either do not exist, or, like I said, if they exist, then they have serious deficits in patriotism. And in my view, then they are not worth their status to be called elders. If I'm lying, they should challenge me. They should come out publicly to assert themselves as elders of the land. Elders of the land. People who have seen it all. Unfortunately, we have people who have seen it all, people who have occupied serious positions and they have exited and they are on pension, they have their mansions, they have their vehicles, they have everything. Yet they behave as if they are still looking up to the president for some appointment. They behave as if they speak, something will happen to them. And I keep asking. Sometimes you have some private conversations with them behind the scenes. There was one elderly person I asked, sir, what are you looking for? At this particular point in time,
If they ask you to run for president, can you do it? He said, I can't. If they give you ministerial appointment, can you function? He said, I can't. If they make you a member of parliament, will you be able to work? He said, I can't. You have everything, so why don't you begin to speak up against some of these things? So, dear elders of the land, if the nation fails, tomorrow you may be gone. My father kept telling me that as for him, he always had one foot on a banana and the other on the grave, in the grave. And so the banana will be slippery, the banana peel will be slippery, and then he will soon die. Tomorrow you may not be there, but you should be thinking about the impact of some of these things that you are keeping quiet on, you know, on your own children and on your grandchildren. They will not forgive you if you don't speak up to ensure that things are corrected. We are in an era where the moment you speak, you are tagged. Right. The moment you speak, people want to gag you. But if we are able to build a certain critical mass of people, the coming together of elders, young people, civil society leaders, and all, if we begin to speak up against some of these things, we'll be able to put some of these things on the front burner of public policy discourse with a view to keeping the needed pressure on regimes so we can be able to act, you know, to salvage, you know, our environment. Otherwise, like I said and like he said, we are on the tangent of mass public suicide.
Thank you, Professor Ransford Jampo. As well said by all my guests, and indeed Professor Jampo as well. We cannot leave this fight for the politician to lead. We must all be involved. Especially there's a CDD report that indicates that illegal miners, Galamsey operators, as illegal oil distribution, as fraudulent business people are financing political party activities in this country. There's a report documented on that. Stay with me. We'll be back shortly after this quick break. Promo. Estate Masters Limited has lands located within Ningo Pram district, 10 minutes drive from the Central University and at Chopoli, close to the new proposed airport site. 15 minutes drive from the Sagleme Affordable Housing Project. Contact them on 0593 884 698. That's 0593 884 698 for your spot. Stay with me. We'll be back shortly after this quick break. We'll round up the conversation on this matter. Stay with us.
Open your eyes. People fall and they rise. Make you no worry about the things you know we change. The things you know we do today. You go do them tomorrow.
Wow, this girl's got talent. You too can change your world. And it's affordable with Airtel Tigo data bundles. Bring your dreams to life with the best data bundles only on Airtel Tigo. Dial *111# now.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Welcome to Lakeside Hills, a gated community which offers a peaceful and serene living experience. Today, we are going to be touring a beautiful 2-bedroom standard house measuring 85 square meters. As we enter the house, we are greeted by a cozy living room that is perfect for entertaining your guests and relaxing after a long day's work. The large windows allow plenty of natural lights to flood in, illuminating the space and making it feel inviting. The first bedroom is cute and adorable, perfect for young couples and growing families. The second bedroom is connected to its very own bathroom, providing the perfect setting for guests or anyone that values their privacy. The kitchen has been designed to be both functional and stylish. The modern appliances and the classy cabinet make it perfect for the home chef or anyone who enjoys cooking. The house also features a compound that can comfortably park 2 cars and it's also partly powered by an AC solar system. If you're looking for a peaceful and a serene living experience in a gated community with so many amenities, then Lakeside Hills is the place for you.
Discover the extraordinary on our 6 or 8 days all-inclusive land and cruise packages starting from South Africa to Namibia or Mozambique. Available every week. The package includes 5-star hotel accommodation with breakfast, lunch and dinner, all-inclusive drink package, entertainment on board, city tours, all transfers, travel insurance and visa fees. Call us on 0308 251 055 or visit yourcruisepeople.com.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulty that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
This is the winner of Talented Kids Season 14. It's Abigail!
After crowning the winner of Talented Kids Season 14, we get to bring you the highlights from the grand finale and interesting interactions we had with the contestants.
We are going to give you bars of spoken words.
Judges.
We want to be entertained.
And attendees.
You're voting for Abigail?
Catch all the fun this Saturday right here on TV3. Kids Arena, this is us.
This is us.
Kids Arena, shows Saturdays at 10 a.m. on TV3. Don't miss it.
And there was this time that we were doing some work on site, doing some plastering, what we call dressing. And he wasn't doing it right. And I showed him what to do. He just looked at me, he didn't say anything. And I was like, doesn't this guy understand what I said? Maybe he didn't understand. Later on I got to know that the guy says he doesn't take instructions from women. I said, you don't take instructions from women? All right. I said, the next day I went to the site. I said, please, this guy cannot work on this site. If he will not take instructions, that will help him in his own workmanship to be a better mason, then I cannot work with him.
Watch the inspiring stories, great achievements and challenges of outstanding women in Ghana.
Ghana Women Award Diaries now shows Saturdays at 5 p.m. on TV3.
The Ghana Women Awards is brought to you by Techno, Stop at Nothing, Tasty Tom.
I have a lot to say on that. But let me tell you that I did not take one excavator for anything. And they know the truth. Now things are coming up. You know those who are behind it, and the party people who are there, people in government, including Jubilee House, who are doing Galamsey and so on, even now. So let Frimpong Boateng stay in his corner and enjoy his retirement.
Welcome back. This is Key Point on TV3. We're live on 3FM 92.7. Also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. Also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale. Sam George is Member of Parliament for the Ningo Pram constituency. Joseph Didiok Benka is former Deputy Attorney General. Martin Pebo is private legal practitioner. Professor Ransford Jampo is a professor of political science at the University of Ghana. And go back to you, Mr. Sam George, on this. Now, we've seen this come up a number of times. If this report and the details of it, as the lawyers on this panel have established that there's some prima facie evidence to work with, to take decisive and concrete action to fight illegal mining, which threatens all of us. Who has to do that, and which institution? Is it the CID of the Ghana Police Service, the Special Prosecutor, or the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ, or the NIB or BNI or a Commission of Inquiry, as has been suggested, or Parliament? In fact, all these 6 that I've talked about.
Alfred, we are in dire straits. And we're here because there is no political will to really end Galamsey.
There's no political will.
And the lack of political will is because politicians benefit from the practice of illegal mining. Anything that benefits politicians and political parties is never fought in this country. Look, this whole fight against Galamsey, it is failing because the president is not committed to it. The president engaged in sound bites diplomacy. He gave the media fantastic sound bites. I put my presidency on the line, and that became the headline. Sound bites. All smoke, no substance. The president didn't wake up and say he wanted to fight Galamsey. It was the media and civil society. Engineer Ken Ashigbe, my senior, Bernard Avle, they were the ones. I remember when they came to Parliament in 2017. They came there with a board and asked MPs to sign. They came there and engaged Parliament and got a media coalition to back the fight against Galamsey before the presidency came on board based on the amount of pressure that the media launched. As we were saying when we all know President Akufo-Addo. If President Akufo-Addo wants to get something done, he's the proper Ethiopia. There's nothing you will say, nothing you will do that will change his mind. The president is a very stubborn person. And it could be good. When the president decided he wanted to do free SHS, even when, like Prof said, when people say we will pay the school fees, he said, keep your money, I will pay for your child. That's how stubborn Akufo-Addo is when he wants to get something done. If President Akufo-Addo wants to end Galamsey in 3 months, he can end it. But he's not interested.
He's not interested.
Simple and short, because there are too many people around him. Too many political interests that will be affected if he took that decision. And you see, call a spade a spade. It may go even beyond President Akufo-Addo. Because the people doing Galamsey cut across the political divide.
MPP, NDC, everywhere.
If you read the report.
In fact, it captures the fact that
if you read the report, Frimpong Boateng said one of the companies was close to NDC people.
Indeed.
When power shifted, that same company went to another powerful bloc in the MPP. Business interest. Look, I keep saying, you see this bottle of water you've given to us? If we are not careful, before I go on pension, for me to get this water, I have to import it from France. Or from Europe. Because you will not get water to drink in Ghana. There will be no treatable water body in Ghana. Look, do you know the risk we had? There was a study carried out on the bottled waters we are drinking. Do you know the amount of chemical concentration and alkaline levels in there? Because to treat the water, Ghana Water itself has stated they're using 4 times.
In fact, 10 times.
10 times.
10 times the
amount of chemicals. And you think that it doesn't have any consequence on our bodies. Go to our hospitals and see the amount of organ failures that are beginning to happen. Mercury in our fishes.
Skin diseases.
Skin diseases all over the place. Galamsey is mass murder. It's not mass suicide. It is mass murder. Suicide will be people, all of us saying that we are doing it. But this is a small group of people murdering the rest of us because of their greed. It is mass murder by a cabal of business and political interests that have aligned. That is what Galamsey is. And Galamsey is, look, today in our security services, and I'm happy Lawyer Martin Kpebu mentioned the IGP. One of the most lucrative postings that people are even willing to pay money for to get postings is to become commanders of police posts and officers in charge of police posts in mining areas. You have men and women, and here again I'm careful because the last time I came and sat here,
and spoke about the military and Boku. Hey, all hell broke loose in this country. I am not saying the entire Ghana Armed Forces, but there are people at the very highest levels of the Ghana Armed Forces. There are people at the very highest levels of the Ghana Police Service who are benefiting from illegal mining. They may not be involved in it, but they are providing men to offer protection, and houses are being built for them, cars are being bought for them, money is being given to them on a monthly basis in this country. That is what Otumfuo was speaking about when he spoke to the government people and said, people sitting in this room know the people behind Galamsey.
In fact, Almon Kwenka requested for that video. We'll play it.
Look, it is a look. If we want to stop Galamsey in this country, look, we are spending billions on Operation Nothing Shield or whatever it is called, fighting terror in the northern regions. It's, for me, Galamsey is a bigger threat to our national sovereignty than the threat of terror from Burkina Faso and Mali. Because Galamsey is within the country. It is going, look, you can survive for days without food. How many hours you can't go more than a day without water.
Seriously.
Water is the essence of life. These guys are going after the very essence of our living. And our government and our security services are complicit in it. It behoves on the Chief of Defense Staff, someone I respect, Air Vice Marshal Amwama, to launch an internal investigation in his own service within the armed forces. It behoves on the IGP, Mr. Dampare, to launch an investigation. Look, you cannot move a military vehicle without the commanding officer knowing where those vehicles are. The military is a very disciplined institution. You can't have men of the military, you can't have army officers in uniform carrying out an operation that their commanding officer didn't know about. If their officer didn't know, I have a case I'm dealing with, Navy officer, a son of a woman in my constituency, who was sick, was sent to, he's based in Tema, was sent to the hospital in Tema. The hospital referred him to 37. When he went to 37, the doctor there gave him excuse duty, because he failed to go back and inform his commanding officer. He was locked up in that room.
A sick person?
Yes, because per the rules, he went AWOL. Because yes, the doctor gave you excuse duty, but the doctor is not your commanding officer. You must come back and report to your unit. That's how disciplined the military is. We saw Erastus Asaridonko of your sister of a radio media house in Ghana go in there and capture officers of the Ghana Armed Forces protecting illegal miners. And when the cameras were on them, what did they do? They called their commanding officer. And their commanding officer spoke to the head of the security team that had gone in with the media and ordered them to release the men. And a reinforcement of soldiers was sent in to protect the men. And you want to tell me that whoever is in charge of that unit or that battalion or that platoon is not complicit? We cannot continue to pay lip service and do sound bites. If we want to end Galamsey, whether it is NDC or MPP, we need political will at the very top. I believe that the Ghana Armed Forces and the Ghana Police Service put together, if you give them 3 months to end Galamsey and you resource them, and there is no political intervention from anywhere, they will end Galamsey. Our water bodies will be restored in no time. Look, when the Operation Vanguard thing started, what were they doing? They were putting bullets in the engines of many of these things and immobilizing them.
Yeah.
Then what did you see? We saw all kinds of talk of arbitrariness against the military.
In fact.
And then they now started moving control boards. If you take out the control board and leave the equipment, when you go, I can bring another control board and just insert and move the equipment.
True.
And so the reality is, look, where we are as a country, there's only one way to stop this menace. Look, if we are not careful, all of us sitting here, our children, by the time our children are ready to start having their own children, they will have to be importing water to bath. They will have to be importing water to drink. And for you, Mr. Galamsey, who thinks you are making $1 million in a week, and so you think you have money, your money will be nothing when you have to start drinking the same water you've polluted, and you have liver failure and kidney failure. your money will be nothing. The people who are sitting at the airport and allowing them to carry their gold bullions out of this country, because the Galamseyers are not selling the gold here.
No.
You've seen Alistair Matthias in the Al Jazeera expose. All of that gold, where is it coming from? Charlie, look, we're not angry enough in this country.
Thank you.
Look, Alfred, Alfred.
In fact, you're next. So I just wanted to establish. So you,
well spoken.
Sam George, the proposal for the solution to this matter is the police service, military movement without any political interference. It needs the
president to be serious about it. Great. And for him to send a signal to all of his appointees that anybody who stands in the way of the security services executing a mandate to bring a stop to Galamsey, I will deal with you. It is political will.
Take a look at Otumfuo Osei to the second and this video that hits the nail right on the head about the hypocrisy in the fight against illegal mining in this country. Take a look.
As I'm making time, Master Mabekano, before I read my speech, it wasn't me can't be me in Lucia. And Regional Minister name, Meba, Jina Pomba, and almost say, and Eba Joya can't the work at and so my person Mekana. And this are no Musibia Mekas and Fufrobia, Air Day Kakra. As I said, no crane me catch you almost said, Galamsey, I can, and them have me chimu, ye chimu, send me a year, you have nature me and son. A mobile 30% in Boma Galamsey. Yanni to them, hey. See, I GM watching ya, ye chimu, mobile 30% and not any Boma Galamsey. Yeah, come a crane. You better die, why be a conference here. Say, Michia, Oma Bay, Galamsea Day. But was in an unknown chance as in a mile. What can we anyway? No more kind of never out to be our class as your dear Galamsea. You was off who brown for why upon it.
Well, that of Otumfuo Osei to the second there. It caps the entire conversation about the hypocrisy in our democracy and this fight against illegal mining. And Lawyer Benka is instructive. The ceremony where he spoke was the regional consultative dialogue on mining. Talk about the people who are gathered there, knowing who are involved and how to fight this. Beyond this report, how do we give effect to the public outcry so that after 2 weeks, we don't move on to the next matter that becomes a big headline?
Well, you see, I like to associate myself with about 95% of what my brother Sam George said. Mm-hmm. You see, the problem is, the Otumfuo has said it all. We are behaving like the ostrich. We just bury our heads in the desert and pretend that nothing is happening. You see, all that is going on, as I've indicated, the various actors and players, there's complicity across board. There's complicity. But let me state this. Even the gold that they mine, they steal from here. They carry it out of this country unaccounted for. They don't pay taxes. Millions of dollars worth of taxes are evaded by people. They just, and look, Emirates, when they are living here for Dubai, and then you go and you are going to cross-check and do real cross-checking, the type of gold they carry away daily, you have no idea. Look, last 2 years, Martin, a friend of mine in Upper East, who had gone to bring some investors to assist in mining, the investors came and used local authorities to muscle him out. He has a percentage in the mining firm, but they used local authorities to muscle the gentleman out of the company. You know what? They mined, got a lot of gold. They didn't account this gentleman. They had carried out of this country several bars of gold. You know what happened? This time round, he got wind of it, and he went to national security. When they went to the airport, They arrested them with gold, large quantities of gold. They were carrying it out of Ghana.
Wow.
I'm telling this is a statement of fact. When the gentleman reported the matter, one Charles in the Upper East, when they arrested them and took the gold to the place there, I mean, of course, they have been investigating for 2 years. They haven't come to any conclusion. But the point is, if he hadn't made the report, the gold would have been carried out. You have no idea what quantities are taken out of the country daily. So we destroy our environment, and then even the money that we should contribute to national development from that destruction, again, is carried out of this country without due regard, because some actors at the various points will have to benefit and allow it to go out of this country. Why? What are we doing to ourselves? I've heard it loud and clear, and the earlier we all started shouting, the better. Because when Ghana is destroyed, it is not going to affect one person. All of us are going to be affected.
Absolutely.
It's not one person. It's not going to know color. It's not going to know tribe. It's not going to know ethnic group. It is not going to know political party. All of us are going to be affected. So acts done by individuals, companies, entities, and etc. must all comply with law. Otherwise, we should raise alarm. Look, Alfred, I have said it here just this morning, and I repeat it. We have underreported the devastation of Galamsey. As a country, it has been completely underreported. Time will come when, apart from the water we are talking about, we will not even have farmlands anyway. So you have no water to drink, you have no food to eat. We are not going to have farmlands. Look, cocoa is production is declining. The Western Enclave, where we have most of our cocoa being produced, is declining. Why? Because Galamsey has taken... Look, there's a video that I watched. I went. A man was boasting that he has cultivated cocoa for 16 years. He couldn't build a house. But now he's built a house because he gave out his cocoa farm, fact, and then they destroyed it.
We did that interview.
But just to add to what he's saying, you have Chinese destroying your cocoa farms. And now China is becoming a major exporter of cocoa. And you think that this is actually not espionage, and this is not calculated?
Even that man I'm talking about, even that man, just to wind up, even that man I'm talking about who made this statement, did he also think about the fact that he will die and his children will come and there will be no land for him?
Well,
he didn't think about that. He's just thinking about what he has done today.
Kokobot moved in to go and convince him not to do that.
Look, Alfred, if there were time, look, this matter, for even if you give us 4 hours, we won't be able to finish.
I agree.
Because look, it's so deadly. But we appear to be pretending because individual pockets are lined up every day. Individual benefits.
That's the thing.
Because if I make a call and then probably if I'm earning salary of 20,000 a month as a government appointee, and somebody comes to tell me that if you make a call and stop them from harassing me, I can get you $1 million. It's so attractive, so lucrative, so mouth-watering. So you compromise yourself because of your personal benefit today at the expense of tomorrow.
Lawyer Martin Pebble, on this, especially because we're talking about dealing with this decisively. We've admitted that it cuts across the political divide, at least with this CDD report, indicating that some illegal miners even finance political parties' activities, both sides. What has to be done beyond this report? After we've all gotten angry about the details of it, what has to be done, finally, in a minute?
Okay, so we'll just repeat what we said earlier. The Commission of Inquiry, let's go for it. Yes, I think across the table we kind of seem to agree. And then special prosecutor also come in and do his independent investigations. And the other bodies, IOCO and other, so they can come together, interagency, to see how they can build independent dockets whilst we do the public inquiry, because the public inquiry is very, very important. It helps, sunshine is about the most effective disinfectant, right? So when it's being done publicly, it helps to avoid killing some parts of the case and all that. That's what I say. And then, of course, let me mention finally. So this brings back to the report we made to the police against Akunta Mining. Chairman to me is Akunta Mining. The CID still have it. We haven't heard much. So, Madam CID boss, please, we are back to your table about Akunta Mining entering the forest.
Fantastic. Thank you. Professor Jampo.
Well, I think we spent all the time talking about Galamsey. It tells you how serious the matter is. to all of us and how serious the matter should be to all well-meaning Ghanaians. And my concluding remark on this discussion is that if truly we have elders in this country, then let them begin to show patriotism by speaking forcefully on the matter before they die. Let also the president now and the president tomorrow also appreciate the fact that political power that is gained and retained through the destruction of our very source of livelihood is not worth its salt. So let the president in power now, and let the president who would come to power tomorrow, let them all appreciate the fact that political power that is gained or political power that is retained through the destruction of the very source of livelihood of the people is not worth its salt. Let all politicians and let all security agencies also know that the vanities of wealth and excessive need and inordinate acquisition or inordinate quest to acquire cash through the destruction of our environment is a suicide we commit today whose impact and effect will be felt on our children, tomorrow. So with this, let the fight against Galamsey be fought with all seriousness. Otherwise, we would not have tomorrow. And you see, it is threatening to be told that if we don't take care tomorrow, we may have to be importing water. And it is threatening to be told that we need more chemicals to be able to refine the water that we drink. We are compromising the quality of the water we are drinking today, and it will by all means have certain effect and impact on our livers and our kidneys, and tomorrow we are dead and gone. And so it is important. You may have all the resources. I've known rich people who have all the cash, suffering diseases, and they want to pay to be able to gain their health, and they don't get it.
Okay.
So what is wrong with you? Acquiring all the wealth and failing, in your health. And so, please, let us be serious. But, Alfred...
For example, I'm going to go for this quick break. I'll come, we'll round up. Go for it. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly after this quick break. This is...
Board our Mediterranean Blue Package, a 10-day all-inclusive package. Discover Barcelona, Marseille, La Goulette, Genoa, Rome and Palermo. Available every week. Call 030-825-1055 to book now or visit yourcruisepeople.com.
So who will it be? Who will be going to Dubai with me?
Me. Babe, think about all the fun we'll have if you pick me.
I am your father, your school fees payer. You must obey.
But Chaliki, you know they be bros before all those.
Who would you choose?
Your favorite milk is taking you and a special someone to Dubai in the ideal Sochi Sorted Dubai promo. Just peel, text, and you could win this and other exciting prizes. This package is FDA approved.
Nestle, good food, good life.
Really need to think of a way to make some money. You could start a church. Yeah. Something. Or say it's evangelistic ministry.
Consider me because me, people like us here, we make a bed scream.
What is this?
What is it? You want?
I'm traumatized. There are men and there are men.
What song is that?
Oh, gospel. Like all men are men. Jesus is the man.
It's only 20 minutes past 10.
You know what can happen in 20 minutes? A play can be prepared in 20 minutes. Children can be conceived in 20 minutes.
Guys, I hear that. Thank you.
Abrantie, me who from Sobia on home. I see. Sir Brantie, or catch your crop when he said, no more piano to home of line. I was so piake. Now, a sacrifice I didn't want him to say. Can you put them in now? Or didn't you shut that mouth for sale? What do you put on? Louis, no, Messiah can have well. Quick, we say now. What's out? It is. What he from?
As I see, anyone did you do him in a mini major, dear? And what has a memo nipa who near ye, nay, papa.
Nay, papa.
And it's only probably 20 home appliances in our car farm. That's why when you are near me so far so pet. This day, car farm was sorted. But it to 1 year man so I could do 65%.
Tivika say, no boys.
And so, I'm not sorted.
Yet, you can say what you fear.
Anyhow.
Yeah. Abrantie me bi samoa obi antimi ka kire me de ntie se me kuno en samoa ka no susu to asum afi wei ye de Yesu hu be che no if so kan sempa afi foforo no ye ba dwe maka famfo nso to me
anyhow. Hello Kafam Uma sorti Ponto Pilato mame.
Digital Zacchaeus, Michelle Kofaka from TV Kasian Bremi.
Ratchet, Mahonia.
Catfarm, assorted Easter promo. And you're up to 65% off.
The fishing industry in Ghana is of prime importance to the economy and the well-being of the people. Sadly, this critical industry faces a hidden threat that threatens its very existence and survival. Join us as we shine our spotlight on the canker of illegal fishing, a practice that has devastated our marine resources, depleting our fish stock, leaving our fishermen with empty nets, fish processors struggling to survive, and our communities in dire straits. We delve into safe fish handling and processing, certification and licensing schemes. We focus our sharp lenses on child labor and trafficking in fishing communities to demand accountability and responsiveness from duty bearers. Join Three Foundations advocacy for Ghana's fisheries recovery through missions compelling and captivating advocacy. Keep an eye out on TV3. This program is under the auspices of the Feed the Future Ghana Fisheries Recovery Activity, funded by USAID, from the American people, live on News 360 and across all Media General social media platforms.
Welcome back. Promo Estate Masters Limited has lands located within Ningo Pram district, 10 minutes drive from the Central University and at Chopoli, close to a newly proposed airport site, 15 minutes drive from Saglemi Housing, affordable housing project. Contact them on 059 388 4698 059 388 4698. Ambosam George, in 10 seconds, wish our Muslim brothers and sisters Eid Mubarak.
Well, Eid Mubarak to all our, and Ramadan Kareem, or Eid Mubarak to all our brothers and sisters.
Right.
As you celebrate, as you've gone through the period of purification and fasting, we pray that you pray to God to give our president the energy and the fight and the zeal to fight against Galamsey, and may God hear our prayers and accept our ibadah. Especially my constituency, I'll use my constituency chairman, who is a Muslim, to use him as a point of contact to all Muslims in the constituency. Alhaji Savangad, Baraka de Salah, and then also Eid Mubarak to my Zongo Caucus coordinator and the rest of the team, and my women organizer, Haja Rashida.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very same here. Eid Mubarak to the entire constituency, the Muslim Ummah and everybody, and it's our prayer that the Eid has come to an end in a manner that all of us will be very happy about it. But let me caution just before I go on that they should celebrate in moderation. In all this, we should do everything in moderation. The issue of riding motorbikes carelessly and all that should cease, and we should do so in moderation and reflection and be very sober. And I know that the good Lord will bless all of us.
And I know you've spoken on behalf of my other two guests as well because of time. And I thank you. Thank you so much for the understanding. Appreciate it. Professor Ransford Jampo, Professor of Political Science at the University of Ghana, Legon, and Martin Pebo, private legal practitioner, leader of the one of three individual bondholder groups. Also, Joseph Penka is former Deputy Attorney General, and Sam Nate George, Member of Parliament for the Ningo Pram Pram constituency. I want to apologize sincerely for not getting into the second conversation on the issues of labor, but it is still on the front burner for us here across all media journal platforms. Thank you, Baraka de Sandla, to all our Muslim viewers and family members across the country. On behalf of the rest of the team, as always, I am Alfred Okanse. Have a great weekend.